What? What? Oh, sound. Sorry. My bad. Sorry. Dealing with a cat here. All right. We're in a better place. All right, hold on one second. I have too many clips today. It's too much. I'm getting it together. And I got a cat to be there, right? We're all good. Oh, we're scattered. Okay, hold on. 3, 2, 1. Oh, I gotta push this. There we go. Hi. Okay, good. Whew. Hi, everybody. Mic's on. Good. Audio is happening. Yeah. Excellent. Oh, and the sound of the thing is still happening. Sorry, I have to do this thing where there we go. I have to mute these things by hand, manually. Thank you. I'm glad you like the new background. It's a little subtler than the other one. Yes, I was at the gym, and it worked out, but I've harmed myself. Sorry for flashing you. I'm going to be sore tomorrow. I'm just going to be, just get that through your head. Whatever tomorrow, if you see me like turning sideways like this, that's what it's gonna be. Yeah. Yeah. Watching the Paxton trial. It's also when it happens, your sound drops. Oh, when I transition. Yeah, that's gonna happen. Just cause. I'm not quite sure how to remedy that right now. It's just a weird thing. I'll try not to talk when the transition's happening. That might be the smart money. Okay. I don't know where to even begin with the fucking craziness that is going on with the right wing now. The absolute, the deep sea cave spelunking. I guess all spelunking is cave spelunking, but you get my point. For any nugget of fucking anything it's hilarious. Let me just show you something, just to generalize. Let me give you the overall of the fucking lunacy that I am dealing with on this day. And I gotta thank there's no Glenn Beck, because there's a clip of him, but it's a fucking hour. Like it's one of his specials. I can't do that. I don't have time for that shit. Glenn, if you're listening, and I know that you are, or somebody at the Blaze who watches my channel and goes, God damn it, whoever you are, actually, you probably don't say that because you have the illusion of Christianity, and it's like you'll act very unchristian towards your fellow man, but you won't take the Lord's name in vain because that's a bridge too far. Anyways, could you do me a favor? Tell Glenn to take all of his bullshit, his massive, ridiculous, confused, malinformed gibberish, and squish it down into a much smaller package. Honest to God, I have no interest in picking apart his bigger shows, and there's just as much. I mean, I suppose I could salami slice my way through them, but what a waste of fucking time. And there's no Russell Brand today either, although he's got, lately his takes have just been like, what Tucker said. That's basically, if you want to know what the Russell Brand show is right now, he should just go, what he said, and show a picture of Tucker. I don't even know why he doesn't just fucking run Tucker's interviews on his channel and call it a fucking day. Just go on break and make Tucker Carlson the accidental host. But this is how fucking cuckoo the right is right now. This is a video from Real America's Voice, RAV. This would be the Rumble channel / whatever the fuck. I don't know where else they are. There's the alleged idea that they are somehow on the radio or something, but I've yet to see it. I know it's probably on somebody's cable package, but I'm just saying you're not paying top dollar for it if that's the case. RAV. I had to give you that. I know. Yeah, just the title, CSL. I'm excited about the title. This fucking title is so gaboy. I don't know. I can't. You're gonna get a kick out of this. This is the current state of the right wing thinking. Wait for it. Something really sinister about Mike Pence. Look, it's all right. Literally the least sinister person ever. Like, he couldn't even pull off sinister. Jesus Christ. Yes, he's like so milquetoast. Maybe that's how they get. He's so sinister. Yeah, and maybe it's just fucking gorgeous. This guy was the vice president of the guy who's currently running to be, who's the head of the field, right? He's the head of the rest of the field, and he's the head of the field, and whatever the fuck in the in the Republican primary. And he, by the way, Donald Trump, who is at 50% of his own party. So the guy who got 96% of the vote is now down to 50%, but he's kicking DeSantis's ass, so he's going to throw his shoulder out, high-fiving himself. Meanwhile, the former vice president of the Republican Party, and a man they were proud to attach to Donald Trump that was going to right the ship, was going to bring about the Christianization of Donald Trump, right? Something really sinister about Mike Pence. I can't wait. All right, here we go. This is it. See? Hold on, I've got to move this up over here a little bit. Even this video out. I don't know why, like, whoop, and shrink it down so in case I don't want you to miss anything. And I don't want to miss a thing. All right, here we go. It's only a minute. Apparently, all that is sinister about Mike Pence can only be summed up in less than a minute, in 50 fucking seconds. And who makes a clip that's 50 fucking seconds to dunk on Mike Pence? Like, boom! This has got to be good. It's got to be good. I'm excited.
What Constitution? What is he talking about? I mean, you're right. What plan?
Oh, great. So you're playing a referential clip without putting whatever the ass she is referring to. Great journalism, real America's voice. I fucking hate this. This is a constant problem on the right. Glenn Beck does this all the time. He'll reference shit like right out of the gate that something in the last segment that has no bearing on what they're talking about at the time. And then they don't even, oh, God.
What is he on? I mean, I actually wrote an article on my Substack. I think it was.
Wow, guys. This is how upset she was. She wrote an article on her Substack. It's already my Substack. I put a Substack. I Substacked it. Jesus Christ. I wrote a very sinister Substack about how sinister he is.
It was a week or so ago talking.
Yeah, or so. I don't even know. We've lost track.
About the lies that Mike Pence told about his role in January 6th and what he did on that day.
Oh my God, he's such a liar.
What he says in his book is totally inconsistent with the sworn testimony of Mark Short, his chief of staff, and Greg Jacob, his general.
Oh my God, it's terrible.
Counsel.
You mean the guys who weren't anywhere near him during the time when he was actually swept away by the Secret Service so he wouldn't be hung by Trump supporters during that period? Where Mark Short was like, I don't think I talked to him. I don't know if I talked to him. I think I talked to him.
I mean, he made it sound like he swooped in single-handedly, wrote this statement, had all these advisors say what happened, et cetera, et cetera. And, I mean, it just simply isn't true. So there's something really sinister about that man. And no wonder, as you said, he's got no traction in the Republican Party, but he's playing some role. And I can't quite figure out what it is.
Well, I'm glad that was the whole segment. That's the whole clip. That's all of it. That's it. That's that Real America's Voice, Steve Bannon, and crazy lady who writes for Substack. She's a senior contributor at American Greatness. She contributes to American Greatness in the most senior way. And there's something about, I can't put my finger on it, but there's something about that Mike Pence I won't necessarily like. Okay, yeah, well, tell you what. When you figure out what it is, and you figure out why we should all give a fuck, race Bannon, well, from the Harvey Birdman version, maybe. Ha ha ha. Yeah, people. Ha ha, there he is. If you figure out why the rest of us should give a fuck, you weirdo, let us know. And also, the people at the Ramada would like you to stop live streaming from the breakfast bar, wherever you are. That's where it looks like. Just saying. Looks like she's a contributor at American Greatness. So that was mercifully short. Something sinister about sinister and sinister. And there's always a plot. There's something always going on. I don't know if you know this. Now, maybe... now... The Blaze is cranking out some high styling stuff. The shocking truth buried in Jan 6 video archives. Oh, it's eye-opening. And why does it look to me like she's making a blowjob gesture? Well, maybe, you know what? I don't think she did. I think this is a screen grab that was unfortunate. And some fucking pig at the Blaze decided, this'll draw them in. Eye-opening what she's doing with her hands and her mouth over there. Meanwhile, this guy looks like he has his hair dusted gray to play he's like a high school kid playing an old man in a high school musical. You know what I'm talking about? Am I wrong? Does that look like? All right. So, but I want to have my eyes open. So do you. Now, I don't know if we'll do all of this, but we'll give it a shot. We'll try. Clickbait, easy.
So House Republicans announced last week that members of the media and other qualified individuals will...
That's officially not me, so I know that their standards are awful. Also, does anybody have a quarter for the gum machine? There's a bubble gum machine there, and you can't just have that there and just have me not stare at it. You're going to have a gumball machine, and you're not going to pass out quarters? Did you bring enough for everybody, Blaze?
Now have access to view footage from January 6, 2021. This obviously is backtracking on the promise that Speaker McCarthy made to the American people.
Oh my God, fucking liar.
When he said,
oh my God,
we will make all of the footage public. That's what he says. Now, according to these instructions, you have to be a qualifying nonprofit organization or a news outlet. And they have all of this strict criteria that you have to meet in order to be able to view this particular.
Yeah, rule number 2 is probably the one that people at the Blaze have the most problems with. If you can read it, the text is a little bit small there, but it says a funky thing, which is again kind of applies to that whole if we can see it, everybody can see it part. I'm gonna blow this nonsense up a little bit. Only U.S. citizens, U.S. nationals, and U.S. lawful permanent residents are permitted to access terminals and footage. That would be the reason why you don't just dump it on the internet like a fucking moron.
Footage, and I wanted to bring in here
a bunch of other people wearing hats for no other reason that they're indoors, and it's the best way to show a disrespect to the Lord and ladies.
Someone who has combed through endless hours of this footage, Steve Baker. He is an investigative journalist and also...
Yes, he was 12 when he started this project, and now he's 12 and a half. Just some of the footage was shocking.
Part of the Blaze TV team, so we appreciate you being here, Blaze TV contributor. So Steve,
I'm already yawning like deep inside. He's combed through endless hours of this. Well, apparently there is an end. He just hasn't reached it yet.
How many hours do you think that you've
Steve, how many hours have you watched in the thing you do?
Sifted through on this so far?
Sifted.
If we're talking about the 41,000 hours of video, I've only had a few days, and nobody can go through all that video.
Right.
Nobody could possibly do it. I focused largely on anything where I saw immediately like there was cleavage and you could center in on that. And they have this kind of Blade Runner thing where you go tick, 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 rat, tick, 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 rat. I wasted a lot of time and dehydrated myself quite a bit.
It would take years of endless nonstop viewing to get through it. And in fact, under the new rules that they put out, as one of my friends put it, you would have to go all the way back to when David was slaying Goliath and start then getting your 3 hours a week.
Hey, that's interesting. It's kind of funny that you would bring that up, dipshit. It almost explains why, quote unquote, this is the biggest case the FBI and the DOJ have ever dealt with, because of the inordinate amount of evidence, especially video evidence about it that exists. You might have accidentally stumbled into a moment where with a little bit of introspection, you might go, hey, I'm part of an organization that is chock full of assholes up to this point.
In order to complete the viewing of all of them.
Yeah, if you wanted to watch all this, you'd have to go all the way back to a fictional event that probably didn't happen. That's a long way. That's a long time.
That video. So it's a daunting and an impossible task to go.
Well, but you're a daunted fellow.
through it all, but you have to be aware of what you're looking for before you even start.
Right. You have to have an agenda. That's good. Watch with an agenda. You know, that's the important thing. That's what makes you a good Blaze contributor. Only look at the stuff that confirms your bias and avoid watching anything that might dissuade you from. Yeah.
Fortunately, when I got in, I knew exactly what I was looking for.
So, what is your take on?
Obviously, you weren't looking for the moment that Ashley Babbitt was shot, or the killing of Roseanne Boylan, or the tasing of Officer Fanone, or any of that. You were just kind of zip past that part, right? Get straight to the we're just here looking at statues video.
Kevin McCarthy and the House GOP's new criteria all of a sudden that you have to meet in order to view this footage?
Obviously, we were very excited when they initially announced that they were going to put that video up somewhere. In fact, I wanted Elon to put it up. I wanted his programmers to put it up and make it even more user-friendly to access.
Yeah, so because he's got friends in China, they got plenty of server space. Oh, wait.
And I thought that was a great idea, but obviously
That's a great idea. But then I'm an asshole, and
nobody bought on that. And it was just shortly
right, because that would be a fucking madness.
thereafter that they withdrew, and then they used Tucker as the first guinea pig, and then Julie
Look what happened to him.
Kelly, John Solomon, Joe Hanneman from the Epic Times, and then myself were the 5 independent journalists that were allowed to go in. And they essentially, the House administration staffers used us as the guinea pigs to figure out how they wanted to set up the new guidelines.
Yeah, what not to do.
Are you going to, so you get to keep your allowance to your access to go view that footage under these new rules?
Yeah, as of today, I received a message from House admin that I would be allowed back in next week.
Okay.
Right, so obviously they've changed the rules to limit free speech and destroying destruction. Now, he's not a journalist, he's a contributor to the Blaze, which means he's one of their research dudes, probably.
What is
He's responsible for filling out Glenn Beck's blackboards.
Sierra, what can you make of all of the footage? I know there's a lot that you're piecing together, trying to get out to the American public, but just in a broader sense, what you...
Yeah, if you could edit down the 8 most exculpatory moments that don't show the moment right before where these people were criming their asses off and the moment right after where they were criming their asses off, could you sum up those moments?
Can say right now, what do you make of all of this footage that you've combed through and you try to square it with the narrative that the left continues to sell?
I would rather ask the question, how do you square it with the right-wing idea that these are all fucking feds? That if it wasn't for a couple of fibby whisperers walking up to maggots and going, go, it's go time, they wouldn't have attacked the fucking Capitol. They would have gone, you know what? No, I'm upset about the election. I feel heartbroken about how things turned out. And I feel in my heart of hearts that it was a rigged and stolen with 2 L's election. But by God, if it's wrong. I will not trespass onto the grounds of this great nation. I will not stampede into the people's house waving a Confederate flag, intending to beat the living shit out of a police officer who's doing their best to keep the functioning of our democracy flowing. I will not, cannot, just do it. Fuck it, let's get him. Get him back that blew my ass. Give me that flag. Bang, 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 zap, zap, zap. Push her through the window. Yeah, all right.
The American public.
Well, first of all, it's incredibly difficult because
because there's so many guilty people in it. It's so difficult because when you watch it, you realize we're on the wrong side. It's a lot of work.
To understand, as I mentioned before, the enormity of the process. There's over 1,700 cameras inside and outside the Capitol. Over 40,000 hours just on the day alone.
Yeah. Now add that to the fact that these motherfuckers filmed themselves and put it all over Facebook Live, and again, you could get a glimpse of the teensy tiny bit of information that you might realize that they need so many FBI agents to go through all this shit because they have to try these individuals and they have to make sure there's not some point in there go, I'm just kidding, right? And they got to go through all like 17,000 hours of video of some dickhead storming the joint, kicking a cop, beating up one of their fellow protesters because they think they're Antifa until the dude strips off his thing and puts on his maggot hat because he's like, I thought this was all happening at night. I did not get the memo.
Of January 6th. And then once you start going in and looking at all of this, there's so many gaps. There's so much wasted time that you spend. It's such a daunting.
Yeah, there's empty parts of the building as they tourniqueted off the certain hallways so they could evacuate people. And there's a bunch of shit, let's be honest, he's not just talking about empty hallway footage. This asshole is talking about footage that if he watches it, he can't unwatch it, and he can't say he hasn't seen it.
Process, because if you are tracking a person, an individual, be it a protester who did bad or somebody you're trying to help on their defense.
A protester who did bad. What kind of did bad? Did they step on Roseanne Boylan? Did they tase a police officer? Did they dookie in the rotunda? Did they steal a laptop from Nancy Pelosi's office and threaten to sell it, and try to sell it indeed, to the Russians? What kind of do bad are we talking about? Also, when you're trying to help someone in their defense, does that include some of the people who, quote, did bad?
Tracking them through and then finding the missing gaps in the footage or where the cameras are missing. And then, unfortunately, there are gaps in the footage of cameras that were working, and all of a sudden there's 3 or 4 hours missing in the middle of the riot itself.
Gee, it's almost like these motherfuckers hit some of the cameras. Yeah, there's this weird footage of this guy walking up and staring right in the camera, and then it stops working mysteriously. I blame the Illuminati.
So we're running into that problem. And
are you really? By the way, you do realize that in certain instances, they're going to take the gaps out where it shows doors that lead to other doors that were rerouted architecturally inside the building and are different from the actual map, so that if they have to evacuate people in a terrorist situation, they can actually do it. And by showing that on screen or sharing it with some dickhead like you who would blab about it on some roundtable shit show on The Blaze, where they apparently bought the set out when a Chili's went out of business, that you would just spill the fucking beans.
Then, of course, there are also, out of the 1,700 plus cameras, there's some of those cameras, there's no footage whatsoever, although the Capitol Police have told us that all of their cameras were functional that day.
Yeah, that must have been where all the feds went. That's, So that's how they had to show that. They had the Fed hallway in the federal building, where all the people who went down that hallway were probably from in the federal thing.
Very convenient.
Very convenient.
Convenient to what, asshat? Fuck you talking about? You're putting the cowboy to sleep. Apparently he can quit you.
Well, so there was a CBS report today that
mainstream media don't want to hear it. Fake news. Why are you even quoting them? Fake news. CBS.
the FBI is still searching for, they say, January 6th fugitives. They said that there are 4 fugitives from Tampa, Florida. One of them is a member of the Proud Boys, which, you know, they throw that name in there just so that you already think very low of this individual. How dare he be a Proud Boy?
No, they they throw that in because that's germane to his identity and to what he participated on the day. Anyways,
it's just fascinating. You keep seeing. This is September 5th, 2023 today. And we are still seeing the FBI and the DOJ put so much concentration on January 6th, oftentimes nonviolent people.
No, Not oftentimes.
They didn't break anything in the Capitol. They didn't
break anything in the Capitol. They stepped over an unconscious cop that they held someone's camera and filmed while their friend beat the person up, but they were just there. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of these bank robbers never actually went in the bank. The fence didn't go in the bank. The driver didn't go in the bank. The guy who loaned them the garage where they changed their clothes and tore off their wigs and put on their, dead president's masks, that he didn't go in. He was never even near the bank.
vandalize anything. They didn't
vandalize
anyone.
They didn't hit anyone. Nope. That's not who those fugitives are, by the way. No. And the people who didn't do anything and didn't do this and didn't do that, a lot of those people got to walk, even when they shouldn't. What they did was they stepped over the blood of police officers to get into a place because they benefited from the violence. Again, my question for this slack-jawed young lady is, so I'm to understand that if 5 people break into your home, but only one of them kicked the door in, the rest of them just walked in. And, by the time the police showed up, there were no living witnesses to prove the rest of them were actually involved in the slaughter. So why are they even being charged? Trespassing? Really?
But they still are not only having, the FBI on the hunt for them, similar to your friend, Chad, Nathan Hughes.
Yeah.
He just got picked up by
the
FBI.
And he didn't do anything, okay? He didn't do nothing. He didn't do anything. He's just a guy named Nathan. Is that a crime now? Is having the name Nathan a crime? Is that where this DOJ is?
And so you're seeing them put all of these resources into it. You're seeing these people.
Are you fucking kidding me? You have a guy sitting across from you who works for your organization who you just said combed through endless hours of Jan 6 footage. If it's not important, why the fuck are you diving through it? Tell you what, in a normal world, wherever a criminal event happened and a bunch of people were arrested in relation to it, the job of the news would be maybe a couple years from now, if one of them turned out to accidentally and surprisingly not be guilty, and he gets freed because blah, 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 or he's released on his own recognizance, even if he got a longer sentence because they thought he was a good guy, whatever, and you have him on, you interview him and kiss his ass, knock yourself the fuck out.
Get sentences of 17 years, 18 years.
Yeah, all they did was organize an attack on the nation's capital. The fuck? Did any of the 9/11 hijackers get sentences? Well, all right, never mind.
For no violence.
No violence. Jesus Christ. They just, look, is entering a place empty-handed against the law? No. Is carrying things against the law? Is exiting while carrying something when you entered empty-handed? Well, excuse me, if it is, then shopping is a federal crime. Am I right? Jesus Christ.
It's mind-boggling.
Well, you have to have a mind to have it boggled, ma'am.
To me. What do you make of that?
What do you make of how confused I am at sort of normalcy?
Scary words.
Yeah.
These are scary words. They're big scary words, and they're naughty words.
If you use the words of a
Yes. Is it illegal? All they did was build a gallows and threaten to kill the vice president.
Founding father,
Right.
if you use revolutionary style rhetoric.
Yeah, that's all it was. Just use revolutionary style rhetoric. They're outlawing style now.
Things that we've studied, those of us who study those types of things.
Right.
And
Yeah, just studying those kinds of things is now illegal in America. You can't even talk about it on a dumbass show that no one watches on The Blaze without being arrested. It is quiet, I will say. It is pretty quiet. Are we going to, what time do we break for lunch?
use those words either leading up to or after the day. You're
No. If you use those words either leading up to or after the day, no. I got news for you. lots of people in this country, in a lot of different arenas of thought and a lot of conversations, used revolutionary language leading up to January 6th. And a lot of people also had conversations about the ups and downs of it, the ins and outs, as it were, on their way out. The difference was they didn't show the fuck up and try to enact those revolutionary ideas, fail, and then threaten to do it again. Because that's what the language after the fact is. You fucking blather about this shit. You're at 1776. We're going to knock this. It's our people's house. We're going to take back the power of our strength. Blah, blah. And then you storm in there, again, stepping over the bodies of police officers that you're like, I don't give a fuck. He's one of the UN jack troops at this point, probably a baby eater. I don't care. And then you go in there, you get your ass handed to you. And then afterwards, you're like, you're goddamn right, Judge. I'd do it again. That's just revolutionary language. Just before or after a particular date on the calendar.
Just as likely to be convicted of some sort of conspiracy to overthrow the government.
Bullshit.
Having done nothing whatsoever. And that's what's happening.
No. Oh, no. No, that's not what's happening. You actually have to do something. It's the doing part in between the talking about the doing part that matters. If you didn't have to do anything and they could just pick you up, motherfucker, we'd be picking up people all the time for just threatening to shoot up their workplace or shoot up their school or shoot up their church or randomly kill some motherfuckers. And we just use that. Like, okay, take your guns, into jail you go. If that was the case, we would do this shit all the time with, people who threaten to be lone wolves or threaten to be, school shooters all the time. But we can't. Because you actually have to do something.
Happening in so many of these cases, and especially...
No, it's not happening in any of these fucking cases, which is why he's saying so many of these cases, so he doesn't have to name one. Again, this goes to the whole thing like Rudy Giuliani with his fucking 1,000 affidavits. Motherfucker, read one. You're sitting there in front of the state legislature. You're in one of these court situations. Stop talking. Just read from your stack of affidavits. Because you're just talking in circles. It doesn't matter what the fuck Rudy Giuliani thinks. But if these are the witnesses and they've sworn in testimony that this is what they saw, and they will, testify in court about what they physically saw or physically participated in, and they've written an affidavit, you don't have to testify. You don't have to talk about this. You don't even have to convince people. Just sit there and read the fucking thing. Just read the death certificates and the voting records of people who were dead and voted. Just do that. Just go, this person died on this date, this is their vote. This person died on this date, this is their vote. That would do it. And if you say you have 10,000 of them, read 300 of them, 200, 50 people would be convinced. Same shit. This part drives me crazy. You're like, there's so many of these. All right, well, name one then, asshole. Bring them up. And then we'll go through their case and we'll find out that they fucking spit on the judge and said they do it all over again. And that's why they were put in solitary. And while they were in solitary, they refused to either isolate if they got COVID, or they said it's a fucking hoax, and they kicked a fucking cop. And now they're getting time added. And half of their sentence has to do with how they behaved in jail more than what they did on the fucking 6th.
What I've witnessed in the trials that I've covered myself.
When you're in the room, can you ask to jump to a certain time code? Can you curate which time code, what hour you want?
Wait, Jaco Bouvens from Jaco Bouvens Ministry. Jaco Bouvens Ministries.
Is someone over your shoulder?
No, nobody's over our shoulders whatsoever. We've been left alone to look for what we went in there to find, and I have.
Still haven't found it.
As a matter of fact, in this notebook right here, I have hours of time codes and camera numbers already ready to submit my request for this time for the stories that we're building right now.
And a couple of quick fire questions. Are you under any gag, any NDA of what you've seen? Can you get access to the footage? Can you redistribute the footage? Can the American people, because when McCarthy said the footage is going to come out, we're talking about the American people seeing the footage.
No, asshole. We're talking about everyone on Earth seeing the footage. Anybody who wants to see it worldwide. Some people might need a VPN to do it, but everybody can see it. And when you're talking about the interior security of the Capitol, there's a reason why certain things shouldn't be released. I don't know why this is weird. Unless these motherfuckers want to wear a sign around their neck that has their fucking credit card number and their PIN number. Walk around. What do you got to hide, man? And a map of your house and your schedule. Wear that around your neck for a week. Be in the public eye and just do that. What do you got to hide? Why aren't the American people allowed to know this? Why is someone trying to stop the American people from knowing the truth? Like, it's just so lame.
Well, that was certainly how they made it sound.
Of course. So will the American people ever see what, can you select, okay, I want hour 105 to hour 115, and I'm going to be able to show that to the American people? Or?
Ostensibly, yes, but if you remember, even when Tucker did his first night of release, they blurred some walls out and did that sort of thing. So,
yes, they blurred some walls out, which is, by the way, I don't know if you know this, none of the walls attacked on January 6th. There was not, I don't know if you're aware of this, but at no point did new walls show up and Fed walls whispering to people. On none of the walls were paintings with moving eyeballs going, attack, attack. Blurred out the walls. Did Jacobins how during the French Revolution? Yes, assholes.
Under the new guidelines, they say that they'll be blurring out Capitol Police officers' faces.
Right, because you fuckers have been targeting these people for personal violence. Because they were working that day and they defended the building they were tasked to defend. That's it.
Request that I make when we finally submit for the batch of video that we want for our big story that's coming, we will have to run that past the Capitol Police, their security concerns, and so we don't know what we'll get. Now, the problem with that is I have already seen that, and I've also brought other eyeballs in to see it as well. So we have witnesses besides myself who have seen the footage. If they deny it, then it becomes the story of the cover-up of the cover-up. So,
Cover-up of, no it doesn't. You know what it becomes a story of, dickhead? It becomes a story of you fuckers wanting to emblazon, you're welcome, the faces of Capitol Police officers on your channel and show out of context video of them to make them look like the criminals in a situation where they were attacked. That's the story. There's a list of who was working that day. And again, this idea that they were, when the Capitol Police, who were outnumbered, in probably 800 to 1, started routing people through hallways that they knew dumped out onto the other side of the building, when they started, going, yeah, come on in here. Yeah, go through this door. And then these dipshits would start, and start down this hallway, through this hallway, this hallway. Fuck, we're back outside.
So at the end of the day, what is the end goal? I mean, you're pouring
Yeah, what the fuck are you doing?
through all of this stuff. Is this the example?
At the end of the day, why light me when I'm going to wear a hat anyways? Why don't I just sit in the corner and you can put a pitch shifter on my voice and it'll be like somebody is a guest that, it doesn't want to be recognized.
Admiration and evidence for people that are...
At the end of the day, what the fuck is this all for? What are we doing here? Because it ain't changing a goddamn thing. And the more we look at this, the worse we look.
innocent that are being accused? Is it just is an overlook?
No. Let me tell you, dude. There's so many people there who are guilty, who weren't even, like, they didn't even make the fucking list. With thousands of people that stormed the Capitol that day, a few hundred of them are seeing the inside of a courtroom, and a few hundred less than that are seeing some jail time. Fuck off. No one who was in the Capitol that day, by the force of beating cops to get in there, even if they didn't participate in it, is fucking innocent.
In a summary of the entire debacle, or I mean, what do we gain?
That's what it is. It's a summary of the debacle. It's the Debacle Chronicles, Chapter 1.
Out of all of this?
Specifically on the particular story that I'm working on, I was sitting in one of the trials back last fall, and in that trial, I saw something that did not ring true.
It did not ring true. Didn't feel right.
It was one of those moments between the judge and the lead prosecuting attorney that I, just by instinct, thought I saw collusion, body language, the connection didn't work. I saw the panic of the prosecutor. I saw the panic of the judge.
And this is not at all projection. Thank you. Did you see any panic in the video of, I don't know, in the faces of the police officers when they were fucking attacked on the day?
Suppressing evidence.
I don't like this. Collusion. I knew it. Body language.
And then I started the process of digging myself. And
I dig myself. I understand. Dude, man, you don't have to tell me. I totally dig myself. And it's a good feeling when you finally come to it. When you're like, you know what? In spite of my flaws, I dig myself. And that's not what he's talking about? Okay.
As I dug further and further and further, I finally got granted the opportunity to get inside that video room, and I knew exactly where to go. Yeah. I knew exactly what I was looking for. And then in the 3 full days that I've had already,
So you knew exactly what you needed to look for and where you needed to go. And 3 days later,
never intended to spend all my time on this one story. I went in there with about 6 different stories I wanted to harvest video for. Yeah. And the story that I thought I knew was shady, it grew and it grew and it grew and it grew.
You know, but it's a needle in a haystack theory, but when you know where you want to find a needle, and I think you don't have to.
Yes, the whole thing about having a needle in a haystack is what you do is you bring in a bunch of cows and you have them all eat the hay, and then one of them will at some point moo really loudly, and then you just wait. It will make a lot of noise over the next 12 hours, and then it will poop, and then you look through its poop, and it's much easier to find a silver needle in a small mound of shit compared to a giant haystack. I have found this myself.
Exposing the fact that there's can I say foul play, tampering, you know.
Yes, you can say whatever you want. Nobody fucking cares.
Then brings the whole batch in question, you know, and I think that.
No, it does not.
That's the point. It's be very, very efficient.
By the way, we need to check back in on this fuckhead when he actually puts this forward. I want to see this whole thing because I'm going to just right now. I'm just going to put a fucking flag in that this dude is going to do a pick and choose on video to shape his case and go, I don't know, he looked like a guy just walking through a thing. And that'll be the entire argument. He didn't even shit on anybody. He shit on the floor. It wasn't like he shit on a cop. I mean, there's still a cop's blood on his shoe. Sure, he tracked the blood of several police officers who had been assaulted that day throughout the thing. There was, but it wasn't like they're acting like he ate one of them because some of the blood's in his stool. And I think it was just because he stepped where he shat right before he did it, and he was trying to get the fuck out of here.
And effective and thorough on this one thing and say, look, this whole thing stinks to high heaven.
Yeah, and that's what is going to happen. I think that when we reveal a couple of these key moments of not only evidence tampering, evidence suppression, creating of evidence that did not exist out of whole cloth.
Oh my God. No, they made this evidence up.
What we
outrage. Oh, Rochester. Are you telling me that they may have CG'd January 6th? It might not have even happened. Is that even the real Capitol? I've seen the Capitol. I saw it blow up in Independence Day, and my goodness.
We've seen with our own eyes in that video room that the potential.
Wait. Back the fuck up.
What we have seen with our.
Hold on.
Creating of evidence that did not exist out of whole cloth, what we have seen with our own eyes in that video room.
You, by the way, you have not seen imaginary evidence created out of whole cloth in that video room. I call bullshit.
That the potential exists that somebody's going to hit the pause button. Might be an appellate of court, and somebody might say, "Okay, let's stop right now and let's go back and look at everything."
Certainly, if
No. If you have evidence that you have evidence that there was no evidence, that evidence was created out of whole cloth, completely fabricated, why are you sitting at this table? And you're what, waiting till your story is put together? You're not providing this to the attorney? Or are you providing it to the attorney and then you're waiting for them to like film the process of them? Because again, I don't think he is. I'm just calling bullshit.
there's someone acting in good faith, that's
By the way, we got 666 likes. That's great. Now's a good time for $6.66 super chat. Help me out here. Help us out with super chats. It's a good time. Also Venmo and then patreon.com/houseparks. I'm sorry. Okay, here we go.
what they would do. So when do we get to know the story, Steve? You're
It's funny because I'm actually in the process of fabricating evidence right now, and it's very complicated. They make it, the government makes it look easy because it looks so real when I look at it. But when I'm trying to make it, I don't know.
you're killing us here.
Work faster.
Yeah,
I know.
When do we get to know it?
3 hours a week. Come on, Steve.
Everybody is killing me on that. And on the platform formerly known as Twitter, X, I get ripped to shreds every day, and I get accused of hating it. I've been accused of being a fed. I've been accused of all the things that
I accuse other people of being. It's so ironic.
we see on social media like that. People are dying. People are being put away and it's my fault because I haven't released this. But let me tell you, we're working with Congress on this story. Yeah. I'm working directly with congressional investigators, congressional attorneys. I'm working with their staff members, working with chiefs of staff of congressmen.
But you're not working with the person that you have the exculpatory evidence for that could get them out of jail immediately. So I guess fuck them. What is this, pawn time? Lord Almighty.
Because this story is going to rock Chapel Hill. I'm Chapel Hill. I live in Raleigh.
It should
Nobody cares.
rock Chapel Hill.
It's gonna rock Chapel Hill like a 3 Doors Down cover band.
Should rock
It should
Chapel
rock
Hill.
every
Rock Chapel
single
Hill, too.
city.
People are dying. No, people are not dying. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. This is what people say to him on Twitter. So again,
That's where
The
my-
whole triangle. Rock Duke, and well, you added Rock Duke as well.
it's so funny. I've been down there. It's very
Chapel
weird.
Hill's where my
Wake
daughter
Forest,
went to,
all of them.
right, went to college. But no, it's one of those things where we have to, and it's cliche, but we have to dot all the I's. We have to cross all the T's. We have to be exactly right.
Yeah.
And we have to have
What? No. You just said that in one case, they made up evidence out of whole cloth. That's not a hedge. That's not an abstract statement. That's not, some of this doesn't add up. Like that hinky feeling you got in the fucking courtroom where you're like, I saw panic and a back of it, like the judge and the prosecutor were working together. We're not talking about that kind of bullshit. You literally said that they made up evidence out of whole cloth in one case. That's it. So fuck you. That's citable. What are you talking about? Be very specific. Say what that is. Because if that's true, and you can even, it would have to, what kind of an asshole you have to be to say something like that if it isn't, or you don't have any proof, to say they've made up evidence out of whole cloth. Just that statement alone. And don't get me wrong, I do think he is exactly that kind of an asshole. But you should have that on the fucking ready. I sure as fuck would. Right? Can you imagine, anybody in the chat room? Folks, I love you. And hello. Hi, chat room. Can any of you imagine a situation where you would say an absolute like that on what passes for television in the Republican world, but even still, and just comfortably say that. Must be a Q theory. Doesn't fucking matter. It's not a Q theory. It's his theory. This is something he's taking credit for. Can you think about, I mean, honestly, because we wash by these things all the time. When people talk about conspiratorial behavior or people acting, fast and loose with the facts and that kind of stuff. But imagine what the level of idiocy and arrogance it would take to, this isn't like just me talking in the abstract about news articles I've read. This motherfucker says he was in court for a bunch of these things and has watched video, that he's got special permission to watch this video, right? And he makes the allegation that in a legal proceeding, in a court of law, a Jan 6er is in jail because of fabricated evidence made up out of whole cloth. And I got to tell you, if I had that kind of an information in any kind of case, you would just fucking release it. You would just go, wait, that's not true at all. Here he is. Or walk out with I have the footage numbers. They can release it or not release it, but I think his attorney needs to know that I have video that I have seen that they have in their possession. I looked right at it, and that is not what happened, and the jury was misled about this thing, right? That seems simple enough. That's exactly what I would fucking do. Even if I didn't like the person who was put away. Even if I was, I thought they were guilty as fuck, you'd feel like a moral obligation to go, put them away by the evidence you have, not by some that you make up. We can't have any situation where that works, that functions, especially in the nation's capital. Fuck that. So, obviously, in that response, I can come to no other conclusion than to, that this is bullshit, complete bullshit, that he is a lying sack of shit, that this is nonsense, that this is garbage. And I will watch, I'm going to commit to it right now, I'm going to end up watching this dumb fuck and his, whenever he puts his little story together, and I feel strongly enough that I can say, I sincerely and without hesitance doubt that there is anything even approaching fabricated evidence made up out of whole cloth. I'm just going to go out on a limb just to see this guy. And you got to understand, he's at the Blaze right now. Nobody gives a fuck what people say at the Blaze. You know what I mean? Nobody's going to hold him to it there. None of them are going to go, dude, you said. They don't give a fuck. They're just over it. They're just mad. They're just looking for the next thing to be mad at. This guy is a contributor to the Blaze, and apparently he's one of their research people, which explains a lot why Glenn Beck doesn't understand economics, politics, or religion at all. If this is the brain trust, thank you. Yes, CSL. Let's keep an eye out for this fucker, because I'll tell you what, just like the Mike Lindell specials, if it'll more than likely be Glenn Beck interviewing this dickhead and playing these clips. That's probably how they'll orchestrate this. I will do the whole fucking show, end to goddamn end.
All of the footage, not just where we find the event, but then they'll tell us, oh, well, that happened somewhere else, or we have to have everything in order to seal the deal.
Yeah.
And that's really important to this, and that's the only reason for the delay. I mean, we could tell the story right now.
Right.
Tell it. Yeah, why don't you? Tell the story right now. Now, why doesn't he tell the story right now? I'll tell you why. It's the same October surprise rule, which is if we all have a chance to start looking into who this fucker was, you'll recognize that what he means is fabricated evidence is circumstantial evidence related to where this person was at 3 different times along their way and what they said they did while they were there and what they said afterwards and what they said before, and tying all those things together. So in the periods where they were not on camera, where they did something even more fucked up than the stuff they did when they were on camera, those moments they're going to go, well, he walks out with that cop's helmet and that cop's nightstick, so we're pretty sure he was involved in the removal of items from the police officer's body while that person was unconscious or being assaulted. Either way, the motherfucker's wearing the gear, that kind of thing.
But we've got to put the video together and figure out how we want to present it. And there's some other.
Why do you have to figure out how you want to present it? Asshole, you just said they made up evidence out of whole cloth. All you got to do is show how you know that. That's it. That's all you got to do. Show us how you know that.
Very important work that has to be done because we have to subpoena or FOIA request some documents that are still under court seal by the DOJ, and these are the things that got me involved in this investigation in the first place.
By the way, there was not a problem with documentation on January 6th. No, there were no people who had like a rioter's pass.
Was when I saw what they had changed in particular documents that are under seal that I can't talk about right now.
Hey, let me ask you a question.
Yeah, you can. Yes, you can. You're a journalist. If you no, hold on, wait. He's not an officer of the court. That he is under no such. He even told the guy earlier he's not under a gag rule. He can say whatever the fuck he wants. So if he's seen it, he's seen it. Say what you've seen. Write it down. Again, sign an affidavit. Go do an affidavit on behalf of the person who's allegedly been put in jail, because that motherfucker, according to you, is in jail under false pretenses. What the fuck are you talking about? Crossing I's and crossing T's and dotting I's. You saw it. You know it exists. You're not under a gag rule to not say you saw something. If you had the right to fucking say, all right, never mind. This is so. Oh God, it's stupid. It's so stupid.
You probably don't want to answer, can't answer.
Probably can't say nothing. It's probably a big national security secret.
Have you seen video evidence at this point that
Collaborates, contrafibulates. What is it again? Excuse me.
Have you seen video evidence at this point that corroborates your feeling of collusion between the judge and the prosecutor?
Absolutely.
Okay.
100%. 100%.
Wow. Interesting.
I received.
Wow. Like what?
A.
And that's a case, a situation.
Yes.
Right. Out of hundreds, you're going to have a lot of work ahead of you to try and chip away at something else. Okay, either way. Don't interrupt. I don't give a fuck about the numbers. No, just because he even thinks he knows something about does not have any bearing on the rest of the people who've been arrested. Knock that shit off. Just let him finish what he was going to say.
Yes, one.
Well,
It just allows you to open Pandora's box and
yes.
say, now let's open
Well, I mean, the
floodgates.
Jacob Chansley thing, the Sean.
Hi, all you guys. Stop talking over the guy who's actually seen the shit and ask him a more probing question after that follow-up. Why? How about this? Why can't you say who we're talking about? Which case we're talking about? What do you think, they're going to be killed in fucking jail? As a matter of fact, by mentioning their name, you put them in a protected class. I believe this person is in jail, for erroneous reasons. I don't think they deserve to be in there, and I've seen too much evidence to the contrary. They should be let out, right? Just do that. You think anybody along the way, like from Leonard Peltier or anybody along over the years, where people think they're in jail erroneously or that the charges against them were fabricated, or you think anybody held back, especially people who saw any of it from the evidence that they actually saw?
Oh, man, I mean, he was exonerated basically because of
No, he was not.
video with Tucker Carlson and
No, he was not.
all of this stuff. So that's why.
No, he was not. He got out on the exact time frame the judge said he would. Like, he didn't get any extra time, shaved the fuck off.
I want to know. I mean, is it
Nonsense. Also, notice how when he says he's exonerated because of what Tucker said, this guy doesn't pipe in and go, yeah, I've seen the footage. Because he would have to bring up the fact that, first of all, Tucker Carlson's footage is a mix of the footage McCarthy gave him and stuff that the New Yorker and other networks had posted, and he intercut it, and there was no timestamp on it, so he was using video out of order to create the illusion that Jacob Chanley walked from one place to another in an uninterrupted line, or that it was very quiet during the entire run of this, or by cutting this part out and even using the same. I mean, I would doubt that they flipped the fucking hallway at one point.
Yeah,
are we seeing the evidence?
There's another case that has already been revealed by Joe Hanneman from the Epic Times, and he was sitting next to me at one of the consoles there at the Capitol for 3 days. And
so he's already done his work. He's figured it out. He's doing what you actually could be doing right now. So again.
And we were looking at each other's, finds and discoveries.
And so he ran with his story, and he was looking at your finds and discoveries, and he hasn't run with your story. Why not? What's holding him back?
He was working.
You guys just hate this person?
Working on the officer Brian Sicknick story. That's the officer who died the next day.
Yeah.
Right.
And of course, they arrested 2 men that basically became in the DOJ, the cop killers that allegedly sprayed him with the pepper spray, and then that set off whatever eventually became the stroke or the heart attack or whatever that he died from the next day. So in the process of sitting next to Joe, as he's working on that video find.
Right. Which, by the way, imagine dedicating yourself to the process of trying to argue that someone who had a stroke after one of the most extreme events in the nation's history that you were physically involved in, where you were single-handedly having to stave off hundreds of violent rioters screaming that they were going to murder the Speaker of the House and the Vice President and anybody else they fucking came across. And your argument is, I don't think that's what did it. I don't even know. I don't know. Does anybody get a stroke from fucking pepper spray? I don't know.
Joe's like, come here, and I'm leaning over and looking, and then our mouths were hanging open because in these individuals' trial, one particular, his name was Julian Cater. I think he was sentenced to 82 months, and in the trial they showed his extended arm spraying one of those little pocket keychain pepper sprays. And then they cut away. This is what the prosecution presented in the trial. Then they cut away and they show Sicknick recoiling and putting, water in his eyes, that sort of thing. Except that in real life, Sicknick was 15 or 20 feet away, and when Julian Cater
First of all, stop making that face. You're just, I think the Blaze only hired her because she always makes that face. Secondly, that's not proof of anything. The point wasn't a direct edit like a TV show, dumb fuck. It wasn't like, we have video of him spraying Sicknick, and we have Sicknick recoiling and putting water. Okay, if he's putting water in his eyes, it's after he's been sprayed. Who the fuck, like, what are you talking about? They cut it together to show the result.
extended his arm for the spray, he sprayed Officer Carolyn Edwards, and he never was anywhere near Sicknick.
No, in that video, they have video of him spraying another cop. The argument in that court case is that he also sprayed Sicknick. Him spraying that other cop is to show that he had it with him and he used it on that day. That is his stuff. That is the chemical that was on Sicknick. That is the chemical that he was reacting to. Okay, all right. This is the example. This is that's what that whole hour is going to be like, isn't it? I love that his defense in this is that no. This guy was pepper spraying an entirely different cop, a woman, in the face.
But he was the cop killer.
No, if he was a cop, if they tried him as a cop killer, he wouldn't get 82 months. He was described as that because he sprayed Sicknick as well.
Wow.
Wow. Well, she's been taking classes from Mike Lindell. Fucking hell. This is a good, that is actually, I have to say, that's like a master class in how awful the Blaze is at their job. I guess is that show on the regular on that fucking network? Is that a real, they consider that programming? Wow. Wow. That whole thing is like, wow. The whole thing is like, wow. By the way, you're watching House Sparks Megaworldwide. Thank you. That's it. Just thank you. I appreciate it. You good people. It means a lot. And in the immortal words of where is it? Here? Where is it? Here? Do I have any of that? Maybe not. We'll see. This speaking of somebody who's terrible at their job, I mean, we saw a lot of broken promises in the clip from the Blaze that we just watched, but I have a feeling that's all going to be fixed. We're not going to see any. We're not going to get a promise of evidence or specifics that doesn't pay off in this. Oh fuck! I take it back. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure. Yeah, we're in for the same load of shit right now. This is James Comer. He's on Laura Ingraham's show. And, she's going to get it out of him. He's got specifics. And you know how I know he has specifics? Because of the title of the video. James Comer, new emails show Biden colluded with Hunter in business deals. I mean, that's colluded with him in business deals. This is business collusion. Also, I think it's a nice choice for him to be against big tech and still wearing Apple iPhones. I try to vary Comer Dick is all over the place. It's true. That's a constant problem that we have with Dick.
Where's Dick? Hi, Dick. Do we like Dick? Yes.
What?
Okay, so let's guys, this is it. Again, game, set, match. New emails show Biden colluded with Hunter in business deals. Okay, he colluded with him in business deals. That's what the new emails show. They're going to show it. I'm here to be shown. They're going to show it to us.
We have brand new details on how Joe, I never talked business with my son Biden, did talk about Hunter's business dealings.
Very excited. He colluded with him. He didn't just talk with him. He colluded with him. It's colludey-looty.
And as vice president, had his office involved. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer today demanding that the National...
Look at that. Comer asked National Archives for emails showing Biden VP office's collusion with Hunter's businesses. So, wait, he has these things or he doesn't have these things? Now, I look, don't get me wrong. She's citing her own network, so I don't have a lot of hope. Well, let's get Comer asks National Archives for emails. They're like, yeah, we don't have any. We have all of his emails, but we don't have any showing that. We don't tailor emails to what you need to prove your case, dum-dum. So, let's see. This is Fox News. Comer 13. Well, oh, have they changed? That's September 6th. Yeah, that's right. Comer asked yeah. I don't see that. The only version of this, okay. The only version of this article I see, oh, there it is. Okay. This is this is the article. Hold on. So here it is. Comer asks National Archives for emails showing Biden VP's office collusion office's collusion. His office colluded with him. Not even Biden. Just his whole office did it. The chair, the desk, everybody. The landline. Oh God. House Oversight Committee Chairman Rep. James Comer, Kentucky, sent a letter Wednesday in the National Archives asking for unredacted emails involving communications between then Vice President Joe Biden's office and Hunter Biden's business associates. The committee is seeking unrestricted special access to a case record by National Archives and Records titled Records on Hunter Biden, James Biden, and Their Foreign Business Dealings, which was recently made public as a result of the ongoing Freedom of Information lawsuit filed by America First Legal. Special access to a case record by the National Archives titled record. Okay, so the Freedom of Information Act thing was sent by America First Legal, and they titled it that. They asked for something called records on. So just for the record, so the office of the vice president didn't keep a folder called records on Hunter Biden, James Biden, and their foreign business dealings. Also, James is not Joe. Did I misread that? Because I don't give a rat's ass about private people, but we'll see. Comer's letter, which was provided by to Fox Digital, ooh, fancy, is requesting unredacted emails from that record that involve multiple aides in Biden's office and business associates of Hunter's now dissolved firm, Ukrainian Burisma. Complete versions of records are relevant to the committee's investigation of the Biden family. For example, on December 4th, 2015, at 10:45 a.m., in an email with the subject of quotes, Eric Schwerin, a longtime Biden family business associate, wrote to Kate Bedingfield in the office of the vice president, providing quotes the White House should use in response to media outreach regarding Hunter Biden's role in Burisma, a Ukraine energy company. Later that day, at 2:30 p.m., Ms. Bedingfield responded to Mr. Schwerin saying, VP signed off on this. So they were talking about talking points because of the people saying that it looks bad, so they talked about talking points. What are you guys doing? Well, this is what we're doing. Here's the talking points on what our actual business is. Okay, cool. The timing of this email traffic is concerning to the committee. No, it isn't. According to Devin Archer, another long time, after a Burisma Board of Directors meeting in Dubai on December 4th, 2015, midday in Washington, D.C., Hunter Biden called D.C. to discuss what pressure is action. Okay, so this is 10:45 a.m., later that day, 2:30 p.m., Board of Directors in Dubai, and they called the thing, because they talked about these talking points about Biden working for Burisma. Traveled 3 days later and threatened to withhold U.S. No, he didn't. We talked about this before. This is not the date of this at all. All right, never mind. They're just shuffling around. Like half the time, they don't even post the fucking email they're talking about, so it's hard to compare. At the time, Shokin was leading an investigation of Burisma's founder. No, he wasn't. He was holding it off. Comer said the email exchange provides evidence of collusion. Whatever. Joe Biden never built an absolute wall between his family businesses and did. Oh, get the fuck out of here. Trump anybody? Suspiciously, Hunter Biden's associate made a media statement on Burisma approved by Vice President Biden himself the same day Hunter Biden called D.C. for help with government pressure on facing Burisma. He continued, Americans demand accountability. I don't know what the fuck. This is just like, literally, this seems like overlapping it where people were going, I'm concerned about this Burisma thing. And by the way, I'm going to fire this fucking dude. And even if your boss is paying him to leave him alone. Additionally, by the way, I'm just saying Hunter's flag is bigger than Comer's. I don't know if anybody wants to point that out. Additionally, Comer's letter requests NARA produce all executive calendars created by Biden over the course of his vice presidency. He said the committee needed the requested documents in order to draft potential legislation. Nonsense. Committee drafts craft legislation solutions aimed at deficiencies. It has identified the current legal framework. No, it doesn't. Committee is concerned that foreign nationals have sought access and influence, but we know what they're worried about. Okay. All right. So that's the idea that this is the idea that there was talking points about his role at Burisma.
Archives provide unredacted emails and documents related to the vice president's office colluding with the Biden family and their business associates.
Sorry, who?
National Archives provide unredacted emails and documents related to the vice president's office colluding with the Biden family and their business associates.
First of all, you can't collude with your own family unless you're a Trump.
Here's one example. December 4th, 2015.
Okay, this is their run with the same one.
Hunter's longtime business partner, Eric Schwerin, wrote to then VP Comms Director Kate Bedingfield.
Oh my God, the Comms Director. Clearly this was not meant to be talked about. He didn't call his There's not an email going to his accountant, maybe?
giving her quotes she could use from Hunter regarding his work with Burisma.
Right. Dad, this is what I'm doing. This is what you were asking me what everybody's giving you shit about and blah, blah, blah. And they think it looks bad. Here's what we're doing. This is what the point of the company is. This is stuff. And he goes, okay, that sounds about right.
She responded, VP signed off on this and that she would provide a statement from Joe's office on Burisma as well.
Because they had to. Because that dealt with this story being in the press. And that's why his comms director talked to Hunter and went, hey, what are you doing? How do we, let's get our messaging straight, our story straight in this particular instance about what you're doing. Because obviously, if he was involved, here's the thing. If Biden was involved in a colludey scheme, he wouldn't have to ask Hunter for talking points. They would just make it up. Again, the bag man does not give details on where the money in the bag is spent or where it goes or the story about it. The person in charge gives you that. So why would they ask?
So how could Joe Biden, who claims he's never spoken to his son about his business dealings,
when his comms director signed off on statements about it, that's not talking about, I don't know why this is confusing. How is this talking to him about his business? How? And again, this whole like house business versus, hey, let me cut you in on this deal, and I think we can get, if we cut it by 12%, we can get you a slide off of the thing, and if you could work on this thing for us, that type of talking about business versus house business is totally different anyways. This isn't even that.
we never believed, sign off on quotes about those dealings. Now, even the White House press corps thought something is fishy here today.
How do you respond to criticism that shows there was no wall between then Vice President Biden's work and his family's business dealings?
I understand the question. I appreciate the question. I get the question. I'm just going to let the White House counsel team answer that question.
Yeah, I bet she is. Joining me now, House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer.
I'll answer it. I'm glad to run this one down. Why is this even fucking difficult? All right.
Congressman, you and I have suspected this all along.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we knew it. I knew it. There was obviously we didn't know about the part where it was the comms director doing talking points around it because Republicans were making an issue of it when there wasn't actually an issue. And this doesn't have to do with money changing hands or any of it. It is literally the politics of the optics of him working at Burisma, period. But, him talking to the comms director and the VP going, okay, fine, is him talking to his son about his business and obviously running it, like a puppet master. A senile puppet master who can't tie his shoes, but sure.
Something else, though, happened the same day the White House received that email. What was it?
Well, they had the meeting. And we've had testimony, and there's emails, there's more evidence of more meetings where Hunter was told that they needed to call Washington for help.
This is the same one. There weren't bunches of meetings where he called Washington for help. And by the way, I got news for you, fucko. By all measure, from your own evidence and everything that you've talked about, if indeed he called Washington, D.C. for help, he didn't fucking get it. He didn't get it. Whatever that help, whatever you thought that help looked like, he didn't get that kind of help. That help didn't occur in any way. Shokin ended up having to flee the country because the prosecutor that followed Shokin went after him, and he's not even a Ukrainian citizen anymore.
We've had Devin Archer testify and
say that he made a lot more money at Burisma than Hunter did. And why would that be? What access? Because Devin Archer doesn't have a particularly good knowledge of oil and gas, does he? He doesn't have a history in that at all, right? He's more of a real estate guy, right? So, but he was on the board at Burisma. Why was he on the board? And he made more money than Hunter did. What would that be? Who was paying that money? Why would why would Shokin actually, or Zlochevsky rather? Why would Zlochevsky? Did I say Shokin earlier? I meant Zlochevsky. When Zlochevsky paid Devin Archer more money Where was that money coming from? Was that set up money to make Hunter look bad? That seems reasonable. Nah.
Say that. There's evidence that points that the Burisma executives were squeezing Hunter Biden to call Washington for help.
Also, Washington versus his dad. The assumption is that he calls his dad. The problem is when he calls his dad, apparently he doesn't get help.
So we know that Hunter Biden was communicating with the White House. This email that you just posted was one of
communicating. Now we're here. Now, you know how they talk about how like Joe Biden's lying because he says he didn't discuss business with his son because his office put out a statement and his comms director talked to Hunter about it. That means he talked business with his son. Meanwhile, this motherfucker wants us to go, they talked business.
Was communicating with the White House. This email that you just
right now, this is him communicating with the White House. This is the fucking Obama's in on it now. Hunter Biden is communicating with the White House. First of all, his father works there, or did, and does.
Posted was one of many, and we believe there are more that the archives are sitting on. Where
good luck.
The Hunter Biden legal team, the Hunter Biden PR people, the Hunter Biden's shady characters who were paying him were communicating through him to his father back and forth. There was no wall between Joe Biden and his son, Hunter Biden.
Okay. No one has ever said there's a wall between him and his son about a myriad of things. They didn't discuss business. The same thing is like how's business is not the same as discussing business. Can we stop fucking clutching pearls and being naive assholes about this, especially when Donald Trump was like, I could have 2 desks in the White House, one for doing business and one for doing government shit, and you couldn't do fuck all about it. Also, I'm not even paying Ivanka. She's just here to get free trademarks.
And these shady business dealings.
What are shady about him? What's shady about him? Honest to God. At this point, what's shady about him? Just the fact that he spent some of the money he made on hookers and crack? Is that the shady part? Or is it that at the time, Burisma was a corrupt organization on its way to not being corrupt, where it is now, by the way, and for the record, it's a functioning company. Again, if you're going to invest your money, do you invest before Hunter Biden's there or after? If you're not an idiot, it's after.
So the meeting among the Burisma executives happening, clearly they needed a lifeline of some sort or some type of reassurance. And it's your contention or supposition at this point.
Yeah, that's better. It's your contention or supposition at this point. Fuck, man. What year is it? It's 2023. This is your supposition territory. Eesh.
That at that point, Hunter kicked in, got word through Schwerin to the comms director, comms staffer at the White House.
Yes, got word through the comms director that here are the talking points that Dad asked for about what I'm doing at Burisma because people are giving him shit because I work at this company. Fucking hell.
White House. And then she sought to reassure, saying, yes, the vice president has signed off on these quotes. That's what you're seeing so far.
Yeah, it's amazing. Say comms again. Say, right. Say comms again, motherfucker. Say comms again. Say comms again. This is my tasty burger. Do you mind if I wash it down with some of your beverage? Comms, listen to you. This is the whole this is where we are. Talking points from Hunter sent to Joe Biden through his comms director. By the way, all recorded. I don't give a fuck. Like, none redacted because of personal conversations is none of your fucking business. None of it's illegal because all the overseers that can see this stuff have seen this. It's nonsense. It always will be nonsense. And the idea that, again, that somehow Joe Biden runs this criminal fucking enterprise and it was his brilliant idea to put the crimey stuff through his comms director. And when they called DC, what number did they call? Because I'm going to go out on a limb right now because I'm just, otherwise they would have said it a long time ago. They didn't call the White House. They didn't call the White House. They didn't call Biden at all. They called fucking lawyers there. They called whoever their business guy was that was their DC lawyer about whether or not stuff qualifies under FARA, blah, blah. They called that's who they called.
Yeah, Hunter Biden has been in trouble for a long time. Burisma was a corrupt energy company. That's why.
That's a good point. It was a corrupt company until Hunter Biden came along. And now it's not. Fuck you.
Why Shokin, the Ukrainian prosecutor, was investigating them for the first place. Remember, Shokin even seized some assets from the owners of Burisma.
Yeah, held them ransom is how they talked about it in Ukraine.
Other countries. This is a corrupt entity. The press was picking up on this, and the Biden, Hunter's legal team, Hunter's PR people, whoever they were
yeah, okay, great. Hunter's PR people were talking to the comms person at the vice president's office because this was a news. Oh, shit. Fucking, and you know what? Who the fuck needs a ledger or a signed check or a money transfer or wire transfer? It's fucking receipts for $20,000 fucking platinum shutter, whatever.
Communicating back and forth.
Yes, the PR people were communicating back and forth, one forth and one back, with the comms director of Joe Biden, and therefore collusion about business.
With Joe Biden, who was vice president, so they can be an official government position on this.
Yeah, he said what I thought he said, right? He said that's what he said. They're communicating about the official position, and the statement that Hunter sent was signed off by the VP and the comms director themselves said that those were fine. And that was the official position. And therefore, what's the thing about official positions in the White House? It's, what is it? Public. That's what it is. That's the word I was looking for. It's completely fucking public.
An official government statement to the press corps.
Mm-hmm. The official secret government statement to the secret press corps that we were hiding. Fucking hell.
Reassuring everyone that everything was fine and everything was on the up and up. This is further coordination between Hunter Biden and.
No, it isn't. Coordination would actually be, and honest to God, would be the comms director talking to the VP, and the VP at that time, or somebody with him, or his comms director, or somebody, or a combination of the two, would write out a variation. You know what? We're going to put it like this. We rework this. We think it should be something along those lines. That would be coordination. Not, hey, how do you want to explain yourself? And then don't send it to me. Send it to the comms director. This goes through official channels. I think they're mad at how above board this is.
The federal government and Joe Biden. And remember, we believe there's coordination between the Department of Justice and the cover-up. There's two.
Yeah. You also, I'm pretty sure, believe the earth is fucking flat at this point. I don't give a fuck what you believe. I want to know what you can prove. When it comes to Donald Trump and the documents case, we have a recording of him that he admits is his voice where he says, I could show you these, I could declassify these, but they're classified. You're not supposed to see these, but they're classified. But I could declassify them if I was still president, but I can't do that now. And I'm on tape saying that or whatever. They got video of his fucking stooges running around moving boxes and trying to erase the tapes and all that kind of stuff. That's proof. Plenty of it. The recording of him talking to Kemp and Raffensperger. That's proof. I don't want to hear what you fucking believe, dum-dum. Jesus Christ. There's more evidence of UFOs than there are of collusion. I'm not kidding. There's more evidence been presented on Capitol Hill of UFOs then there is evidence of collusion between Joe Biden and Hunter Biden and Shemp Biden and Shecky Biden and Wendell Biden Holmes III on business dealings.
Two crimes here, the actual Biden corruption and then the cover-up. And all along...
There is no cover-up. Asshole, these are nationally archived emails. They didn't erase them. They're there. They've been there. Shit. Does this fucker ever get tired of being wrong? Honestly, I believe. Yeah, I think Comer's a lizard person too. I think, but I mean, you know, more of a salamander actually. I don't give him credit for that. Oh my gosh, thanks, JD Christie.
On the way, there have been people coordinating, people representing Hunter Biden who were paying Hunter Biden, people who were.
Okay, your representatives don't pay you. The people representing, never mind. This is fucking weird. So his PR people are paying Hunter Biden to, so that what, they can get a job in the White House comms department at some point down the line. Fucking hell.
Representing him in court.
Even she's confused. She's just basically frozen her face, and that might be Botox as well. But just blinking. Just get through this. Get through this.
People who were in trouble, just like Hunter Biden, for crimes. And
yes, his PR person was in trouble for crimes.
They were communicating back and forth with our federal government to.
Yeah, she's lost it now. Like, look at this. I'm gonna back it up a second. Look at her listening to this dumb fuck. Pay attention to this. This is fascinating. Back up. She's just listening to this asshole talk, and watch her just kind of like poker face her way through
people
this.
Representing Hunter Biden, who were paying Hunter Biden, people who were representing him in court, people who were in trouble, just like Hunter Biden, for crimes. And they were communicating back and forth with our federal government to cover up this crime and to make sure that they could spin the false narrative.
So they could spin the false narrative. Now it's a crime of false narrative. Sure, we can't find the money because it doesn't exist. And sure, Biden's got 2 houses. One because he built up another house he'd owned since 1971 and sold it, like a lot of people who have a house since 1971 sell it for a lot more, and bought a house and fixed it up. Bought a piece of land and actually built a house on it, which is what he did. And then they bought a lake house, you know, a pond house with his book money. That's it. Like that again. What the fuck is Biden waiting for? Is he just he's going to spend his billions, his hidden billions, when he's in his 90s?
Congressman, how deep could this go?
I never ask him that question. It's a dangerous question to ask. Whoops, sorry, 1 second. I've got if I may. Yeah, never ask.
I like wood. Deeper and longer.
Yeah, never ask how deep it can go. It's the answer is always too much. Too much. How deep is your love? How deep is your love? I really need to know, 'cause we're living in a world of firsts, breaking us down, and we all... This is one of the moments where my girlfriend is upstairs going, what the fuck is going on down in that room while he does this silly, silly show? Look, we all have ways that we deal with the idiocy that we have to. Breaking us down, and we all should let us be. You belong to you and me. I believe in... Sorry. Okay.
How many people were involved in covering this?
In communicating this through the comms department at the White House, through emails that are archived in the federal record. Gee, let me think.
It's up, so it wouldn't come out. Wouldn't come out during the Obama administration and toward the end of it. And it certainly wouldn't come out when Biden.
What would come out? The emails about the talking points that they actually said? It did come out. It was an official statement. You just fucking heard him. Oh my fucking God. You just heard him say it was an official statement. What? All right.
Biden was running for president. I mean, how many people are we talking about, you think?
Oh my God. More than the Kennedy assassination. Everybody at Roswell, plus the Kennedy assassination. Also, members of the Warren Commission, the ones that could be bought. And 2 plumbers and 6 Iran-Contra guys and a partridge in a pear tree.
Well, let's start at the top. We know Merrick Garland has told the National Archives not to cooperate with us. We know that someone told the IRS whistleblowers to stand down.
No, they didn't. They told the IRS whistleblowers to not fuck up the case. Listen, asshole. Everything that's on your bullshit laptop that's online is unverifiable. And if you try to get anything from it or use it to find other evidence in a court of law, it will get thrown out. So if you have some actual evidence that you found because you saw an email and you're like, oh my God, we should take a look at his expenditures about this thing and see if he tried to write off that sex club membership because he alluded to it in an email and that may or may not be real, as we check that out. As soon as the lawyer finds out, how did you find out about this expenditure and you went looking for it? Well, we saw the email online. From what? The laptop? Oh, that's not real and verifiable. Also, fruit of the poison tree. We'd like it thrown out. And every judge in this fucking country would go, clack out. The higher ups at the IRS that were going after Hunter Biden were trying to keep these fuckheads from destroying what little case they actually had. It's just
we know that just this week there were Secret Service agents who were working with us on trying to identify the people who tipped off the Biden legal team that the IRS was fixing to knock on the door. And our sources at the Secret Service
tipped off, they coordinated so that the Secret Service protecting Hunter Biden wouldn't think 2 guys in suits with guns walking to the door meant him ill. Fucking hell. He's got Secret Service protection. Of course they're going to say the FBI's coming by. Are you out of your fucking mind? The only reason there wasn't a tip-off about that for the Mar-a-Lago search and seizure warrant is because Trump wasn't even fucking there. They waited till he was gone. If he'd have been there, they would have had to tell them we'll be there in the morning. Good Lord.
say that Mayorkas called them to tell them to stop cooperating with Comer and the Oversight Committee. So Mayorkas and Merrick Garland are part of the cover-up. These are the 2 arguably highest-ranking people in the Biden administration.
Okay. No. Just simply no. Mayorkas is not arguably one of the highest people in the Biden administration. They just want to get rid of him because they don't like a border that is functional and humane. That's their big fear.
Congressman, and about that fateful day we were discussing when that
Ooh, the fateful day.
communication between Hunter's partner Schwerin and the White House comms director, didn't the vice president travel somewhere right after that? And where was that?
He traveled to Ukraine right after that. I mean, we're putting together the timeline. We've been
okay, first of all, of course he went to Ukraine.
We've been able to get all of the wire transfers.
Yes, we've seen all those. No one's impressed.
We've got the correspondence. We've got sworn testimony. Now we're putting the time.
Yes, you have sworn testimony that the mayor of Moscow's wife, for example, who sent money, went to Archer, not to Hunter Biden, not to even the parts of the company that Hunter worked in.
Traveling where Joe Biden traveled. And you know, there's a pattern here, Laura. He did this in Romania.
Okay, first of all, Hunter Biden does not have the ability to pick up the phone call his dad and have his dad fly to Ukraine a day later. And the interesting part is that the theory is that they're trying to set this up. Is the idea that he called him and he said, "Don't, get Shokin fired, fire Shokin." When even the World Bank, the WTF, like they weren't going to give $70 billion worth of aid to Ukraine, which, by the way, part of the loan guarantees we were giving, the $1 billion in loan guarantees, which was this is the third fucking time that we give loan guarantees to Ukraine at that point when Poroshenko was running things. And the part of the reason why we could safely assume that our money would not be misused or disappear was because the World Bank was providing them with actual funds, support funds, actual cash. And we were just guaranteeing $1 billion of that 70. One of the ways we could guarantee that was going to go there was that coordinating with them, they were like, we got to get these fuckers out of here. They got to go after the corruption in this country. And they set up an entire organization to go after it. And Shogun was one of the big problems. He was Poroshenko's fucking kid's godfather.
He did this in China. He did this.
No, he did not.
In Ukraine.
Why again? Obviously, if you think we shouldn't be on Ukraine's side, go fuck yourself. I don't know what your problem is. This pro-Russia bullshit. The fact that these assholes supported Donald Trump and then are gargling Putin's balls right alongside him in this fuck Ukraine attitude, which is bizarre. That's it for another time. But in terms of China, there has been no single president harder on China since before Richard Nixon than Joe Biden. Period. End of fucking story.
The three countries that have paid his family millions of millions of dollars that they...
Yeah, but the deal didn't go through with CFC. That was supposed to be a $40 million deal, and it didn't go through because they wouldn't set up a subsidiary in the United States. It would be under U.S. law, and so when they refused to do that, the deal fell apart, and they got sorry for wasting your time money. We've already talked about this.
Can't account for. Never. Not one time.
Wait a minute. What can't account for? Hold on. No, it can't account for what? Can't account for what? By the way, did anybody get that feeling that we had when we were watching Rudy Giuliani, when he would talk about this shit? Chat room, you guys recall, when Rudy would kind of bring up new Hunter Biden revelations from the alleged laptop that does not exist. He would bring up shit from that. And then he would always fall back on like two fucking, like, I guess you don't have to give Pops half your money or that kind of shit. There'd be like 2 or 3 recurring things, none of which was new. None of it went anywhere. All of it was supposed to allege something, but none, like 10% for the big guy, which was Bobolinsky's fucking language, who got fired. Nobody wanted to work with him anymore. So read from that what you will. But this is the same shit. Like, it's the same, like, and I guess maybe the idea is hammer the same bullshit over and over again, and hopefully it lands with somebody, or somebody goes, well, there's smoke, there's fire. This is steam, Stan.
Paid his family millions of millions of dollars that they can't account for. Never.
They can't account for. Yes, they can. Hunter spent it. What do you mean they can't account for? They pay their taxes. All right. Hunter and James, but that's what the whole tax case with Hunter is about, is that they accounted for the money. And he underpaid his taxes by $2 million. That's what it was. That's accounted for. That's why you have an IRS fucking whistleblower. That's accounting. God damn.
Not one time has anyone from the White House or anyone from representing Joe Biden said exactly what this family did to receive the money.
First of all, yes, they have. For the record, you just cited, oh my God, my head's going to pop. Asshat. That's what this email you were talking about was about. That's what this email is. Not one says this White House. This is from when the vice president was dealing with his son working at Burisma, and they asked Hunter, like, what the fuck are you doing there? What's your actual job description? What do you do day to day? Send us over some talking points so we can put a fucking pin in this, because it's annoying. and whatever you say, we're fine with it. We're not going to embellish, add, or change anything. So get your act together and send it over here. And that's effectively what he did. That is the statement. That was from the White House. You're talking about the fucking VP's comms director. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm I'm fine. I'm going to be okay. I'm fine. Like, man, this is just lazy.
I think we're starting to figure it out.
I mean, hey, if you need a sentence that sums this shit up, nothing sums this up better than that sentence. Just say that again, Comer. Just say it again. Say it again.
Exactly what this family did to receive the money. I think we're starting to figure it out.
I think we're starting to figure it out. Well, tell you what. As soon as you do, open up a fresh can and go fuck yourself and write it down in a memo and send it over.
Especially with Ukraine. He went.
Especially with Ukraine. What did he do? So, especially with Ukraine. So, Burisma, corrupt company, now not a corrupt company. So the arc in that direction was
there to fire the prosecutor who was investigating his son for corruption.
No, he wasn't. I mean, I would argue he wasn't even going through with the investigation on Zlochevsky. But he didn't give a that investigation wasn't into fucking Hunter. He didn't care. 200 more weeks. That's right. Any day now. Any day now. Whew. This ridiculousness. Here we go. At a certain point, is there a Gomer's apart? And all she can do is stare at him and go, okay, meh. She definitely has the, all right, another wasted fucking segment face on. Oh, that didn't amount to shit. Said the same thing you said last time and still nothing. So this is your big fucking evidence, asshole? This is it? This is the big evidence. Hunter Biden's PR person spoke to the White House, the VP's comms director, and that's your collusion. That's it. The fuck are you talking about? Wasting my goddamn time.
And going for another $1 billion to Ukraine yesterday through Blinken. Congressman, thank you so much.
Through Blinken, who's obviously in on it.
So much.
Hey, Sean Hannity.
Hey, Sean Hannity. Hey, Sean Hannity. What, I'm funny to you? I'm funny to you because my head looks like a fucking thumb? Huh? I mean, you fucking, I'm funny to you? Huh? Hey, yeah, buffalo, you tootie.
Yeah. We've been watching for a long time. I'm not actually, I couldn't possibly be as upset about Comer not having shit to talk about worth a goddamn, because I'm not invested in his bullshit at all. But can you imagine what people who are like waiting with bated breath for the next shoe to drop? Here it fucking comes, baby. This is it. Gal Luft is the shit, dude. He's gonna try. He's a witness to the. Wait, he's an Israeli arms dealer, and he worked for a Chinese company for years, and he tried to coordinate the deal that didn't actually happen between Hunter because that company wouldn't set up a U.S. subsidiary because they didn't want to be under the restrictions of U.S. law. Oh, fuck that guy. Where's he? Oh, he's on the lam. Fuck. Well, don't worry about it. We got Devin Archer. He's gonna roll, and you watch, man. Fucking, I can't wait to get my hands on that fucking transcript, baby. That's right. You're going to have to transcript. It's going to prove Devin Archer knows where all the what does it say? They never talk business. I only heard him talk to him, be on speakerphone about 20 times in 10 years. He talked to him every single day, but only 20 times was I present when he called in. And he said, hi, how's the fishing? How's the weather, guys? And then he hung up, and the brand. Selling the brand was the brand, the Biden brand. He was but don't worry. Shokin talked to Zlovchevsky in an undisclosed 17 recordings. He's got 17 recordings. 15 of Hunter and 2 of Joe, or 2 of Hunter and 15 of Joe, and this got him dead to rights, and he says he's got these recordings and he's going to use them if he's ever in a tight spot. Now, he's on the lam. He had to leave Ukraine. He's lost his Ukrainian citizenship. He's been tried in absentia and now has had to buy Cypriot citizenship, and he's in hiding. Nobody's seen him in 3 years, and he's a wanted man. But as soon as he gets in a tight spot, he's going to release parts of some of these surreptitious recordings that prove that they're going to be, that absolutely they're not. Have you heard them? No one has. But this unknown witness who will not come forward from the 1046 Skidoo. And now, remember that whole wave? We rode that wave, baby. Come on, you and me. We were all through that shit. We were like, all right, hang on tight. Maybe they got some shit. 17 recordings. Let's see. Maybe there's a chunk of this shit. Maybe it doesn't look good for Joseph. Mr. Robinette, let's see. And then fucking fart hair. Again, nothing. Absolute ass. And then, today, smoking gun of redacted emails between Hunter Biden's PR representative and the vice president's comms director, where the VP said, okay, where they asked, what the fuck is your official title and what do you do there? So, because people are asking. Okay, is that what you do? Is that what you say? Okay, that's what he says. Okay, that's it. That's the whole big thing. That's millions of dollars criming, and it's a great, vast conspiracy out of, it's incredible. It's not as sinister as Mike Pence, but it's damn fucking close. At some point, things might be as dark as the kidney. But I wouldn't hold your breath. Fucking hell. And by the way, okay, I know I'm over time, but we have to do this one. Since honorable mention, this fuckhead jumped in at the end of that video with his, hi, I'm Sean Hannity, who's, by the way, but for a little bit of the black still in his hair, looks to be the same age as Joe. Seriously, other than hairline, if you told me these guys, hey, they're the same age, I'd go, oh, okay, that's interesting. Hey, he kept his hair, he had plugs or something. But okay, I would totally buy it. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you totally buy it if somebody said they were the same age? Joe is 80. That's what vaping does. I hope not. Oh, good Lord. All right. For all the vapors in the audience. Yeah, I think this whole Trump thing has aged Sean Hannity a bunch. Anonymous knows Jeff Tate. That's fucking cool. Tell him next time you talk to him, tell him thank you for recommending the Entertainer Secret spray. I have a bottle of it that I keep on stage at the Jam, and it's the shit. He recommended that to me in Seattle when I sang Silent Lucidity with him and the rest of the band when they were still together. How do you like that? Yep. Hush now, don't you cry. Wipe away the teardrops from your eyes. You're lying safe in bed. It was all a bad dream spinning in your head. So, yeah, anyways, tell him I said thanks. All right, back to this dipshit. So Fox News, Hannity, this might be May. This May. They decided it might sounds like too strong a word. May. May. This may be the biggest political scandal in American history. And it might be a fart in a paper bag waiting to be popped. Perhaps. Let's find it.
What a great crowd. Welcome, all of you. The only normal people in all of New York are right.
The only normal people in New York. I'm fairly sure that is that Dick Morris or his stunt double. There's one of the best known non-male Dolly Parton impersonators in the country. This lady screams New Yorker. I'm on TV. I'm on the TV. Yes, it's the only normal people. There's fucking 14 of them. Define normal. This, by the way, there is no fucking way that Sean Hannity would talk to this woman for more than 3 seconds. Her either. Maybe this one. Definitely, like, only because he's with her, maybe. I don't know. These people are all from, they're all wearing a similar shirt, so there's something going on there. Yes, these are all the normal people.
Right here. Welcome back, our live audience show.
Yeah, it's so much more exciting when people boo, because even Sean Hannity was getting tired of his same old shit.
Thank you for joining us on Hannity. We begin, though, tonight with a Fox News alert.
What a Fox!
Tonight, Hunter Biden will likely be indicted by the end of this month. I know you...
Apparently he's pissed that there wasn't an immediate response. It took them half a second. It's on a gun charge. By the way, this is why there's a hitch in their get-along, fuckhead. Because Republicans in general don't believe there should be anything called a gun charge. Unless you're, I guess, black and just have one. Then you shouldn't be allowed or something. Wow.
But there's a lot more to this. Now, special counsel...
Is there?
David Weiss is seeking at least one gun charge against...
Oh. Well, you know what I mean. Bribery, influence peddling, blah, 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 blah. He lied on a form and purchasing a gun. Which is, again, something Republicans think should be your right in the Constitution.
Hunter, but
again, these motherfuckers don't even think there should be a form in the first place.
No mistake. Let me be very clear up front here.
I don't know. I like when drug addicts have guns, and especially people who have a history of mental illness. I supported that change.
This is not a cause for celebration.
Because if they start charging everybody who lied on a gun form, I'm fucked.
Just not because you don't want to ever see anybody arrested or have hard times in their life.
Excuse me. No. There's plenty of times I want to see somebody arrested. Get the fuck out of here. It's not all... dude, it's barely ever sad when someone gets arrested. Seriously, statistically speaking, you ever been around an arrest when it fucking happened? I guarantee, anytime anybody who's been standing there when somebody else has been arrested or been arrested themselves and is being honest, is going, yeah, I kind of had to come in at that moment. Or, fuck, that was terrible. That guy was doing this thing, he smacked this woman, and there was a thing, there was a fight in the bar, and then they come in, and they screwed up, they got the wrong guy for a second, and then they questioned people, and then they arrested this dude, and he was still fucking, he was throwing shit at everybody. Like, that's how most arrests go down. No. Yeah, Sean Hannity's saying this because he's still broken up over Epstein and Madoff.
Right, but it's hardly even a step in the right direction when we...
Oh, thank you, David. Best show on planet Earth. Oh, thank you. We'll get you there, David. We're all good. This is so fun. So fun. Too little, too late? I don't know.
Talk about blind justice being blind.
Blind justice being blind as opposed to colorblind justice having no idea how to drive through a stoplight.
Hunter is now facing prosecution only because David
Weiss decided to break up the thing, and now it's a gun charge. There's going to be one thing. Nobody cares. Again, Republicans are like, oh, fuck. They're going to use Hunter Biden. They're going to throw Hunter Biden in jail for 8 months or release him on, give him community service just so they can throw the rest of us in jail for having guns.
Weiss got caught giving Hunter Biden that get-out-of-jail-free card. And
motherfucker, you don't think he should go to jail for this charge? Never mind the fact that you believe it shouldn't be a felony talked down to a misdemeanor in a plea deal or anything. You actually don't. No one in his audience, no one thinks that the form that Hunter Biden filled out where he said, are you currently using drugs? And he checked no. That form should even fucking exist. No one. So piss off.
The form of what was the sweetest of all sweetheart deals.
The sweetest of sweetheart deals.
In the history. No jail time, no serious charges, a gentle slap on the wrist.
For a gun charge you don't think should exist, and a tax issue that he already paid back. P.S. Donald Trump is refusing to return a refund he got from the IRS that he did not deserve of $72 million. Donald Trump got $72 million from the American taxpayer given to him by the IRS in a lump sum that he did not deserve, that he had lied about the depreciation of his properties while he was playing them up to the banks, all this shit in New York. $72 million. Not only did he not pay taxes on, have you ever made $72 million and not paid taxes on that $72 million? That's more than Hunter Biden. That's 7 times more than Hunter Biden is alleged to have made, and whatever, I guess 3.5 times what he should have, the 35 times what he should have paid, like his taxes he should have paid, the entire amount. With that, you could give, fuck it, I don't care. Like, it's ridiculous. $71 million. $72 million.
Full immunity hidden deep into the plea deal.
No, it wasn't. When you make a plea deal, you can't be charged later with the stuff you cop to in the plea deal. That's how plea deals fucking work. And Sean, here's a good idea. Bring on some of the Jan 6ers who got out of jail time because they took a fucking plea deal, and ask them if they would like to be charged later for shit they admitted to during where they admitted to more guilt than they were being given time for. Bring them on. I'm sure you could find, I don't know, spitballing 700 of them.
Try to get that past the judge. And remember, the original plan was no charges at all whatsoever. And then the IRS whistleblowers made that plan obsolete and impossible. So David Weiss came up with Plan B that included immunity, and that became the next best option. No jail time, no real charges. It was.
Yes, because he'd already paid back the money. They'd worked out a deal with the IRS. And the gun charge, everybody was debating about whether even there's a constitutionality to it, because he admits in his book that he was doing drugs, but you can't bring him into a courtroom. This is the problem. If they indict him on the gun charge, when he goes in there, what are they going to say? They're going to say, had you used drugs during that? Did you say in your book that you were doing drugs? Yes, I did. Were you using drugs? I plead the fifth. The jury is instructed to regard the statement as neither an admission of guilt nor a contradiction of evidence. And by the way, object, Your Honor. Does the prosecution have evidence beyond the written words about a generalized period of time that my client has written about in his autobiography that he was during the period that he bought the gun, had he been off drugs for 2 weeks and then he relapsed afterwards, does that count statistically or specifically against this this ruling where he wasn't actually officially, because he just come out of rehab, he was not lying on the form? Okay. Can the prosecution prove that during the period of time, the week he filled out that form, was he addicted to drugs? Did you believe you were addicted to drugs at the time? No, I was, like a lot of users, I thought I could quit any time. So when I wrote down I'm not addicted to drugs, I meant it even if I was addicted to drugs and didn't know it, because that's how addiction works. Yeah. So you truly believed you weren't? Yeah. You do realize that Donald Trump is trying to use your exact same excuse in Georgia to, because he really believed he had the election rigged and stolen from him. Yes, but he had 20 lawyers telling him. I didn't have 5 doctors around me telling me you're high on crack right now. That's a good point. Yeah, he had the gun for 11 days, exactly, and they threw it away. Also, again, was he on drugs when he bought it, or did he believe he was going to continue using drugs, or did he fear for his life because he was trying to get out of drugs and there were people involved in drugs who were coming after him and blah, blah, blah? Like, there's so many ways out of this in an indictment. And Hunter's got good lawyers, but I got news for you. Here's a jury. So you got a guy who comes in. He had a gun in his possession for 11 days. He says in his autobiography he used drugs off and on. He used crack and other things. He was engaged in this. He was living a party life. And when he bought this gun, he had used drugs, according to his autobiography, dates before. Now, do you swear that everything in this autobiography is true to the date? No, he had to move some of the dates around for, to protect people's identities and other stuff like that. So not all the dates are true to form. Well, was this date, were you using drugs on this date? I don't recall. Do you recall because you don't recall why? Either because I wasn't, or it was a long time ago, or I was on drugs. Okay. So when you bought the gun, were you on drugs? No, I think the guy at the gun store would have noticed. He didn't think I was on. We'll bring him in. The guy seemed high on crack. Was he smoking crack at the time? Do you recognize this guy? Was he in a tub covering his nipples, smoking a cigarette? Did he nap at your house with a crack pipe in his mouth? No, he did not. Did he walk in and seem pretty stable? Yeah, he's wearing a business suit. He was a lawyer. The guy who filled out the form. And then he wrote. He checked the box. He just kind of went. How did you do it? He went down the line. Did he really read it? Not really. He wasn't on drugs at the time? No. I would have called somebody. I was like, there's a crack addict trying to buy a fucking gun in my store. I'd have shot him myself. Okay. So at that very second, when you were filling out the form, did you believe yourself to be an addict? Not really. No. I mean, that's the problem with being an addict, is you don't think you're an addict. And even still, I know I am now, but that's because I'm no longer using drugs. Like, this is so fucking easy to get this thrown out. It's just dumb.
All going according to plan until that Delaware federal judge started asking important and pivotal questions. The best question in my mind was to the prosecutor. Have you ever seen a diversion agreement, talking about the gun portion of the agreement, that is so broad that it encompasses crimes and other cases?
Alleged cases.
They tried to bury the immunity in the gun provision of the plea deal. The prosecutor had to reply, no, Your Honor. Now, ultimately, the judge and the defense, they rejected the deal. The judge rightfully...
The who? The who?
Now, ultimately, the judge and the defense...
The judge and the fucking who?
The prosecutor had to reply, no, Your Honor. Now, ultimately, the judge and the defense, they rejected the deal.
The defense, I see. And that would be Hunter Biden and his legal team, I presume. They rejected the deal along with the judge, did they?
The judge rightfully so, because she didn't see that deal till that morning, and that never had been given out to anybody else.
Keep talking. That's good. That never got that. Okay, first of all, yes, it fucking had.
And the defense, they wanted to get out of jail free card with that immunity. Now, equally important, we have now learned from both the IRS and FBI whistleblowers that, in fact, Weiss and others
It's from the Federalist.
Purposely were slow walking the investigation into Hunter Biden for years. And
no, for the record, the problem that these assholes have is that they kept trying to use stuff from the alleged laptop, which again will be thrown out because of fruit of the poison tree. No matter what you do, I don't care who the fuck you are. I don't care if you have the greatest prosecutorial team in the world and they're super maggots and they all believe everything that Donald Trump farts into their fucking faces. If they try to bring it into a courtroom, it'll get laughed out of court. And these IRS agents who repeatedly try to bring this shit in, drag this shit on forever, and therefore moved the goalposts so that a lot of this stuff expired. Again, also, the statute of limitations in the Hunter Biden case, by the way, they're talking about some of the tax shit. Taxes he paid.
And that Weiss, as you all know, we've reported it, he let the statute of limitations run out on very serious.
No, technically, the rotation of the Earth around the sun caused the statute of limitations to run out.
Tax felonies for a lot of important years, especially with Burisma money. Now, these are felonies, you think anybody with the last...
P.S. The money is still viewable through the IRS filings. The taxes ultimately were filed. Again, the only thing I think honest to God, I don't know why they think they have something more to dig into past that, or that they wanted to charge him before he made the deal. In the process of making the deal, and this is one of the reasons why it went on too, is because he was aware of this tax stuff for years, and they were in negotiations back and forth. So some of the statute of limitations ran out while they were dealing with the IRS, because the IRS can't just like, oh, the fucking statute, you're working with us, but fuck it, you're done. We're just calling you guilty. It doesn't work that way.
Name Trump, they would ever get this type of treatment? I don't think so. They never even interviewed Hunter Biden in a 4+ year investigation. After the entire Biden family that was tipped off about the FBI, no investigation, no interview of.
Also, again, what kind of an asshole, and I would say this kind, what kind of an asshole would send FBI agents who do not wear their credentials like police officers? They don't have badges out, all that shit. They identify themselves once they've come up. But they are armed. They have guns. They have sidearms. And they are wearing suits. What kind of an asshole sends FBI armed men, unidentified men, to the house of someone that the Secret Service is guarding to approach the house without fair warning? Other than, I suppose, someone like Sean Hannity, who it seems would like FBI agents to be fucking gunned down by Secret Service because they approach unawares.
Hunter, no future interrogation. So here we are. Either David Weiss, now special counsel, is the most incompetent lawyer in the world,
or there's nothing to this shit and everybody keeps digging and coming up with dog turds.
Or this was all very intentional. I happen to believe the latter.
Great. Show me some evidence beyond your belief, and I'm going to be super excited. Super excited. We're sitting with rapt attention. We're not obviously the only normal people in New York. We're weirdos out here in internet land, but
naturally, Merrick Garland just promoted Weiss. Now he's a special counsel. The guy already had 5 years to bring charges against Hunter.
Yeah, he's been investigating this for the longest, so he knows more about it than anyone else. But here's a good idea. Bring somebody in to start from scratch, wipe the slate clean, start the interviews all over again. Hunter Biden will punt those interviews, and moved to have everything before stricken because he was under the idea that he was getting a plea deal. And so it's a violation of his Fifth Amendment rights if you use that material against him in an ongoing investigation past this point, which he still has that marketability to do, even as Weiss was put in the, but start from scratch with somebody like that and have it pushed out past, well, into Biden's next term. Do that. How about that? How about that, dickhead? Brilliant. I could see why you ended up being Michael Cohen's client number 3. I always thought you deserved to be number 2, but.
And by the way, the evidence is overwhelming and, in my view, incontrovertible.
Great. Show some of it. Knock yourself out. Pop it up on screen. You don't even need a picture of him. Don't even fucking put a picture of Biden up. We know what he looks like. We know what the words "the fix" is in. We know what the Washington Monument looks like at the Capitol Dome. Fill this part of the screen with your evidence.
The guy who seemingly helped Joe and Hunter evade justice, he's now running the special counsel investigation, simultaneously protecting himself and Merrick Garland. Now, David Weiss and the Democrats of the DOJ, they probably believe the gun charge will appease critics. They think that we're obsessed with just Hunter Biden, and they.
No. I think you're jealous of the ass he got when he was romping about. I think that's where you are as a human being. I also don't give a fuck. Again, private citizen.
Couldn't be more wrong. Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't be some. It sounds like you're about to tell me I could be some wrong.
We are concerned with justice and equal application of the law and equal justice under the law, and that applies to Hunter Biden. But the more serious investigation is happening in the House Oversight Committee.
Oh, yes. You mean this quote that's allegedly from a WhatsApp message that has no sourcing and that was, when it was released, made to look like iMessage bubbles, which is different from what WhatsApp messages look like, and and was actually sent in 2017 when it's nobody's goddamn business what they do as long as the business is legal. There is no influence peddling that has anything to do with this one. Just fucking scratch this off your list. 2017, fucko. He's not vice president anymore. He's not running anything anymore. He's a retired government official at this point. He's not even planning to run next time. He hadn't made a decision that he was going to run. Period. This is 2017. I don't care who the fuck he's with. A, I don't even think this is real. Secondly, if it is real, it could be blather from Hunter. And thirdly, 2017. Who is president in 2017? I'll tell you what's happening in 2017. Donald Trump is bringing Ivanka and Jared into the White House and giving them access to documents they could not get because they couldn't pass the security clearance. But he's just writing it out, just executive orders them clearance. Fuck it. I just say they have it. I'm just giving them clearance. That's what's actually happening in 2017 when Donald Trump is president.
With James Comer in the House Judiciary and in the House Ways and Means Committee.
This committee is to Mr. Shearswees.
With James Comer in the House Judiciary and in the House Ways and Means Committee. And that
Look.
Yes, it's he rinses his lips from the same place Trump does.
That's about Joe Biden, the big guy himself. We now have what we have.
By the way, I at this point, Sean, I got to be completely honest. I'm starting to think the big guy thing has to do with his dick, because you guys are so obsessed with this big guy thing, and you seem so obsessed with nudes of Hunter that it seems like you're just infuriated that his dongle dangle is bigger than yours. That seems to be the real issue here. Is this I never thought I'd be asking this question, but Sean Hannity, do you have penis envy? I mean, not just about size, but just any at all.
Been unfolding every night on this show, mounting evidence against.
Mounting. I'd like to mount some evidence. Just mount it. River. Fucking mounting evidence. Go mount some evidence, dude.
A sitting president that directly implicates him in what may well be the.
But I could be. Fuck, I fucked it up. Cut. I can't cut. We have a live audience. Shit. Fucking shit. Mabel the friendly cow. Shit. God damn, I hate this place. We'll do it live.
President that directly implicates him in what may well be the biggest.
Mabel Welby.
Hello, I'm Mabel Welby. It's nice to have y'all here. Gather round, everybody. I'm Mabel Welby. Yeehaw! Mabel Welby tells I spin yarns of injustice on the hill. I'm Mabel Welby.
Political scandal in the history of this country.
Or might be a giant load of fertilizer.
Real influence peddling.
Influence peddly. Peddly boom ding bodie boo. Influence. I'm Mabel Welby, and I'm Peddleby down to the general store to pick me up some Hossenpfeffer and some Whorehound.
Political scandal in the history of this country. Real influence peddling, bribery.
Peddling. Peddling. Though these streams are peddling, keep them doggies peddling rawhide. You know what he needs to do? He needs to try harder. You know what? Don't be afraid, Sean. Just smack your hand on the desk every time you fuck up. It's charming. Worked well for your predecessor. Listen to me. Predecessor, who used to occupy that very same desk. What was his name? Bill me 33 million. Bill O'Reilly, something like that.
And money laundering allegations. And
Not allegations. Oh dear. Tell you what, come back when you have recordings, because that's what we got, fucko.
And many of the crimes Hunter is
also, can I say two words? Grand jury.
Suspected of committing, and
what? Sorry, did he say expected or suspected?
Allegations, and many of the crimes Hunter is suspected of committing.
Yes, suspected. You know, any day now. Fuck it. Suspected.
And this particular gun charge, well, this does not implicate Joe in any way. How convenient. So,
Huh? How do you know? Huh? How do you know it wasn't Joe's gun? How do you know it wasn't actually smoking? And it was Joe's gun. And he fired it while pretending not to fire it, miles away, while it was smoking. It's stupid. How convenient that the bullshit that we finally nail Hunter on has fuck all to do with anything. And that's clearly Joe Biden's fault. It's not our fault for dicking around with shit that if it was a Republican, we'd be clamoring against them being charged at all. God damn it, how did I end up at this hour of the night?
So the big guy, he remains in a bubble.
Does he? Well, maybe he'll, tell you what, he'll beat Trump from that bubble the way he did from the basement last time. How about that, fucko?
For now, safe from any real legal scrutiny.
Real legal scrutiny? That's true. He does have people like Comer and you looking into it. So none of that is, suffice to say, real.
For now. Now, mark my words on this.
Okay, write it down. People, somebody get out a yellow legal pad. Or an illegal pad, I suppose. This is injustice.
It will stay that way if Biden runs for re-election and the media mob and the Democratic leadership want him to run for president.
Hold on, I got to back up. Back the fuck up. I need to. That was too much. I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be something clear and concise. Fuck me. So if when then. Shit. All right, back up. This is the. I'm trying to. Okay, here you go, champ. Bring it home, kiddo.
On this, it will stay that way.
Stay that way.
If Biden runs for re-election and the media mob and the Democratic leadership want him to run for president. Because unless the Democrats and their propaganda allies and the media mob decide that Joe needs to go, he's not up to the job, and they prefer another candidate, if a few influential
this is a fucking lot. Wait. This was supposed to be concise. When you say mark my words, you say something like, mark my words. This asshole is full of shit and has no idea what he's talking about. Like, or mark my words, none of what he's talking about has any bearing on the reality you will see in the next couple of years. How about that? Okay, series 30 million. 33 million, Javier. Yes. Fucking hell. This is just dragged out bullshit.
If the media mob and the Democrats decide they're not going to run him, and the cabal of baby eating.
So stupid. I can't. I fucking. God damn, man. You're gonna if then your way through this shit? That's a lot of if thens, dum dum.
A few influential media mob swamp creatures.
Oh, fuck. They're still on this. Influential media mob swamp creatures. Obviously, he means Maddo.
Start, well, sounding like me. In other
words, like stammery and ridiculous and like unreasonably hopeful for a shitty outcome. You mean like that, or just misinformed and smooth-brained? I think the chances of that are fairly slim.
Words when they start telling you the truth for once on these important issues.
Okay, go ahead. Tell you what, instead of telling us what they're not saying, why don't you tell us what you're saying, and we'll judge what you're saying based on the merits, because... Oh, wait, that's how you do your show. I see. So if you just talk about what other people are saying and call bullshit on it, but you don't actually show it like I do, say, when I bring up articles or you mention an article and I bring it up and I look through it and I find out that in the yeah, but paragraph, it blows your whole fucking story out of the water. You're not doing what I do, I see. You know what? I'm applying my methodology to you. That's completely unfair because I actually think through my shit.
On the millions of dollars that the Biden family made with no experience at all, cashing in on Joe's name and Joe's position as vice president.
I mean, we've covered this so many ways. This is just a mini little gish gap. This is like there should be a thing like a gish trot, which is a recurring lie that just go da-dum. Here's two lies right after the other, and then we just move on in the conversation as if we weren't just full of shit on two major pillars of our entire belief system.
If they start reporting all this, that will be the canary in the coal mine, and that means that they're going to try and push Joe out. In the end...
Yeah, they're not trying... Why would they do that? We passed an infrastructure bill, fuckhead. Have you read the CHIPS Act? Of course not. You do realize that Medicare has just started negotiating drug prices for the first time in fucking history. You do realize all the stuff that Trump said he did, Biden's actually doing it? You do realize that getting rid of Title 42 cut the number of crossings at the border in half? You know that fentanyl deaths have gone down by 30,000 in a year? Why the fuck would we want to get rid of this guy? Because he stammers? Or because he's got a shortened tendon in his leg because he broke his foot during the campaign in 2020? Who gives a shit?
It'll be Democrats that push him out, not Republicans.
Well, that's because you don't have any power. And hey, fuckhead, if you guys had any evidence, you would absolutely push him out. What do you think this impeachment talk is about? This is a white flag moment from Sean Hannity. This is what we're actually doing. It's going to be Democrats that push him out, not Republicans, not because the impeachment is not going to happen. Just hang out. Don't ask for an impeachment thing because there's nothing to be found there. And if they look, they're not going to find anything, and it's going to be frustrating, and you guys are all going to be mad at me. So you just wait. As soon as CNN starts reporting on some of our bullshit for us and doing some of the legwork and going, maybe there's something here, and playing both siderism in this shit, as soon as that happens, then we'll claim victory, and you guys can leave me the fuck alone.
As for now, Merrick Garland, David Weiss, they continue to protect Joe at all costs, even if that means offering up Hunter as a sacrificial lamb.
Yes, they built a time machine. They flew back. They made him mischeck a mark on a form that Sean Hannity believes shouldn't exist in the first place, and now they're going to send him to, they're going to give him community service and a fine for it.
So while David Weiss, well, he pretends to care about a gun charge, we are focused on the
let me tell you this. Hey, asshat. Right now, through this whole segment, you and your entire audience and everyone at Fox is pretending to care about a gun charge. You want to talk about a direct projection That's what everybody at Fox is. You are all pretending to give a fuck about a gun charge. None of you think this is a thing.
The real bribery, money laundering, FARA violation allegations.
FARA violation. Oh boy.
That we now have more and more evidence developing.
What? Did you guys notice? More and more evidence developing, like it's a fucking Polaroid. Listen to the end of this.
Violation allegations that we now have more and more evidence developing every day.
Yes, that's what evidence does. You don't find evidence. It develops, like a cold sore or a blood clot.
For example, let's look at Ukraine. Let's look
at it. This is from Just the News, John Solomon.
At our timeline, October 2015. That's when the Obama White House, they decided to give Ukraine $1 billion in loan guarantees.
Yeah, it wasn't the first time.
Because they had made enough progress regarding corruption in Ukraine. Okay, a short time later, December 4th, 2015.
A short time later, back. Task Force of State Treasury Justice Department officials declared that Ukraine had made adequate progress on anti-corruption reforms and deserved a new $1 billion U.S. loan guarantee. A new one. That's August 21st. These are the dates in this article here. There were 3 in that year alone.
Corruption in Ukraine.
Okay. So this is the second one or the third one?
Okay, a short time later, December 4th, 2015, same year, Hunter Biden, he is meeting with Burisma executives. They are in Dubai. They were facing a corruption probe by a prosecutor by the name of Victor Shokin. Okay, Now, in this particular case, they pleaded with Hunter to get help. They needed help from D.C., Burisma executives. Hunter arranged the call while he was in Dubai with the Burisma executives.
No, that's not what he said, asshole. This is what Fox News says. Notice how the quotes just go to call D.C., but the to get Ukrainian prosecutor fired is not actually what they were requesting. Nor was that what Devon Archer actually said they were intending to do. As a matter of fact, the idea is that Shokin was going to get fired, and they did not want it because they had him on a short leash. They could pay him off. They did not trust that the next guy would be. The help they wanted was to keep Shokin in. Zlochevsky himself said in the presence of Devon Archer, allegedly, and that he was a known entity.
With his D.C. help, that would be his VP father, Joe.
No, it wouldn't. There was no assertion that the calling to D.C. was actually to Biden's office, nor was there any record that he actually called Biden that day. Again, they have other people in D.C. If you want to make those rounds, you want to do some actual fucking digging.
Well, 4 or 5 days later, then Vice President Joe Biden, he happened to be in Ukraine. And as the Obama administration's point person,
he didn't happen to be in Ukraine.
That's when Joe was supposed to deliver the $1 billion per Obama foreign policy. Instead,
no, it was not $1 billion. It was $1 billion loan guarantee. That is not $1 billion you actually get. We would just back some of the World Bank's money. The World Bank was withholding $70 billion. Like, we won't guarantee that billion for them, and that'll trigger a cascade of things if you guys don't do some shit about this corruption, because a lot of our money that we're giving you keeps ending up in fucking Russia.
Joe decided to leverage that $1 billion, force Ukraine to fire Victor Shokin, the prosecutor investigating, Burisma Holdings, the gas and oil giant that was paying his son a ton of money.
Also, Burisma Holdings is not, it's an investment group. Again, gas and oil giant, whatever.
Gave him 6 hours to fire him. Son of a bee,
right.
They fired the guy.
Say bitch, you weakling. And yes, and Joe admitted to this on stage at the CFR because it was part of policy.
Ukraine got their $1 billion in loan guarantees. Burisma stayed in business. Hunter kept getting paid for a job.
Zlochevsky fled the country. He was tried in absentia.
In which he admitted on Good Morning America he had no experience in and was.
Right, neither does Devon Archer. Devon Archer was paid more money than Hunter was. Explain yourself. If we're supposed to listen to Devon about his time there, and he's an expert, why the fuck is Hunter less so?
Was an admitted addict at the time.
Because that's how you run a criminal enterprise. You put an admitted addict inside of the quiet parts.
Now, according to a trusted FBI source, if you go back to the 1023 form, that, of course, James Comer's committee had to fight.
Biden tell me, yes, a trusted FBI source, which was Rudy Giuliani.
For they didn't want to hand it over willingly. Both Hunter and Joe each accepted $5 million. $5 million for one Biden, $5 million for another Biden.
No, they didn't.
And by the way, it'll take you over 10 years. It'll take you over 10.
Yeah, because they did it in installments. Biden had it done through a Jelly of the Month club because he's an old-fashioned kind of a guy.
Long years to find out where that money came from. Before anybody's going to...
Here's a good idea. Just point to where it was spent. Because the holdings and what they have in the bank and the accounts that they have and all that kind of stuff, it's all available. Nobody in Joe Biden's position as vice president is going to give up the power and influence he has for $5 million. Are you fucking stupid? Just because Donald Trump is a bullshit billionaire and is a cheap date and can be bought off by the Chinese for $15 million via his secret Chinese bank account to scuttle the TPP does not mean that everybody else will sell out this country for chump fucking change.
Figure it out. Now, we do know that at least 9 Biden family members, including grandchildren, received foreign payments passed through shell corporations identified by Congressman James Comer.
Define shell corporation.
Don't you wonder, what did the grandchildren do for all of this money? How did...
They didn't have to do anything. Hunter was essentially paying them for, giving them tuition money or paying for something for them from the money that he got. It wasn't because of work they did for it. Nobody even alleges that. Nobody alleges that they were somehow working for these companies. It's just money that anywhere Hunter spent the money that he gave out, that's him. Like, where did the money go? Well, you know where it went. He paid one of his niece's fucking tuition at some expensive school, which was like $40K. That kind of stuff.
They earned that money. Hunter didn't have experience. How did he earn millions of dollars?
Because he was a lawyer and an investment broker with a team of investment brokers. Why are you confused by this? I think the clearer question is how about this? How about we have Donald Trump, Eric Trump, Don Jr., and Ivanka, all VPs and the CEO of the Trump Organization, one of the greatest developers in the history of New York. Have them sit down and take the architectural accreditation or the contractor accreditation test for New York State. How about that? I mean, they're the best. They could ace this fucking thing, right? They know it. You know how I know it? Because Donald Trump in his office, he's got a bunch of blueprints. It's the same ones, and they've been sitting there for years since The Apprentice, so God knows what the fuck. They're probably the Eiffel Tower, but they're all rolled up and they're in bins in the back of his office to make him look busy. He could just unroll one of those and just break it down for you. What do you think? Yeah? Just break it down for you. No? You don't think they passed the test?
We got millions of dollars. China, Russia, Ukraine, Kazakhstan, Romania, Mexico. Now, according to John Solomon, he will join us in a minute.
Whistleblower concerns about Hunter Biden's firm first surfaced in spring 2015. SEC memos show. Yeah, that's what the coordinated message shit was about. That's why the talking point. That's why the comms person was contacted.
As early as 2015, even the Security and Exchange Commission was receiving alerts about suspicious transactions and fraudulent schemes.
Dude, any expenditure over $10,000 gets flagged by the SEC after 9/11. Here's a good idea. How about we go back and we look at all the Trump financial trades. Look at stuff that was sent. Have the SEC look at wire transfers and cash transfers to the Trump Organization from God knows who the fuck who in the 90s, pre-2001, before the eyeballs were there.
Involving the Biden's transactions. But it wasn't just Ukraine. There were payments, as I said, from China, Russia, Kazakhstan, Romania, Mexico, and others.
Also, there were no payments from fucking Kazakhstan. He's mixing up the picture of the dude from the dinner in 2017. The $146,000 to buy the car was for a car. It was a thank you for securing these deals. Now, Kazakhstan, by the way, is increasingly leaning towards the West and towards the United States, and is much better in its relationship with us. Again, post-Obama, since the beginning of the Obama administration. Whereas before, it was much more just a satellite state of Russia, and split in its genetic. Sort of the people of Kazakhstan are genetic crisscross between Russians and Chinese, largely in that area, and some Middle Easterners in the south. You know, the kind of like almost Afghan tribal peoples or whatever. But that, like, Kazakhstan itself is growing into a much more mature. It sort of resembles Iran in the 1950s in a lot of ways. Not that this fuckhead would know.
At the very same time, then Vice President Joe Biden was meeting with many of these wealthy foreigners and
wealthy foreigners,
oligarchs, and Hunter's foreign business partners. They were
the Elena, what's her name? All right, no,
making his family rich. But Joe had said over and over again, as a candidate and a president, he'd never once spoken to Hunter or his brother or anybody for that matter.
Sorry, guys, I have to admit, if Joe Biden said that he's never spoken to his son or his brother, I think they've caught him in a lie.
About their foreign business dealings.
I see, about their foreign business dealings. I think that would be the what. You guys heard that, right?
There were dinners at the Cafe Milano with the former First Lady of Moscow and others. Numerous phone calls, according to Devin.
By the way, that was for the World Food Program, where Hunter, when he was trying to get his life together, was the head of it for a while. Just for the record.
Archer and other communications. Hunter, meanwhile, had a direct line to the White House. He received government emails about Ukraine. They don't want to give them to us.
No, he didn't. And you've seen the one that you're referencing, and it wasn't about Ukraine. It was about the 1-year anniversary of his dead brother, you fucking cretin.
He attended state dinners. He set up White House meetings with a lot of these foreign business partners. And then his father, Joe, well, he lied about all of that. Why would...
No, he didn't. You're asserting that he did. But please, like I said, once you find recordings or you have some sort of thing like, sorry, we didn't get a chance to talk business, whatever the fuck.
Would Joe lie about something as critical as that?
He's not.
Now, to top it off, Hunter decided not to pay taxes on what was millions of dollars in income. I guess it was tough for Hunter based on his own communications. He had to give, in his words, half his income to Pops. He told that to his sister in a...
Again, something a bagman never says, but a rich son might say about his dad who doesn't do anything for that money or the other family members.
In an email that was captured on the laptop from hell.
Which doesn't exist, and also metadata didn't happen. We're covering the same shit. Like, this is a Gish Gallop again.
And yet, despite all of this, the special counsel, David Weiss, with all of his special powers, is...
He does have special powers. It's his charisma, his ability to look great in any pair of pants, and, of course, telepathy.
Rounding the corner on a relatively minor firearms indictment after a 5+ year investigation.
There's some kind of a hunt that you talk about. Donald Trump used to say something about this. There was some sort of a hunt they used to do. They would it was snitch hunt. No, that's not what it is. Bitch hunt. That doesn't sound right. It sounds like quite frankly, a video cassette I might have watched at a friend, bought from a friend at one point. Let's see. There's swish hunt. No, that's not it. 5 years, come up with fuck all. I don't know. Somebody call Bill Clinton and ask him about this. So what you're saying is they went in looking for like kind of influence peddling and financial crimes and basically found a blowjob, something like that.
This is obscene. This is not justice that is blind. This is not equal justice. This is not equal.
Well, it's only obscene because you guys have this weird fixation with showing Hunter Biden nudes on social media.
Application of our laws. The fix has been in and still is in.
Well, I do feel like Biden has fixed a lot of things that Trump broke, if that's what you mean.
Imagine if the names were different.
If the names were different, Donald Trump would be going, it's my gun and I can have a gun if I wanted to. Also, I can have all the guns and they're my guns and I don't even like guns and they're his guns and he was a Democrat and only got me coffee anyways. What guns? Oh, those guns. Those are my guns. I don't have to pay taxes. I'm smart. That's how it would have been. That's exactly. We don't have to imagine, fuckhead.
Switch the name Joe Biden and make it Donald Trump.
Oh, okay. So we have to preface all this with guy brags about grabbing women by the pussy, has 20 some odd sexual assault allegations against him that are all backed up by a lot of evidence. He brags about not paying his taxes. He owes the IRS $72 million, lies about it, and says he'd love to show his taxes, but he's under audit. When it's not an audit, he's just fighting returning money he didn't deserve. He's got a secret Chinese bank account where he hides $17 million and then takes out 15 personally in 2017 while he's president of the United States. That's not even in fucking question. Let's see, what else? He also kills the TPP a couple of weeks before that. Let's see. So we're going to preface on that whole thing. Also, he, at one point when his wife was pregnant, made a gesture that he hopes his daughter has his wife's big tits. So, okay, starting from there. So the foundation, if Joe Biden was that guy. Well, if he was that guy, he wouldn't create and develop and go for the programs that he sought during his many years in office, because he wouldn't be the same human being, and I wouldn't have voted for him because he would have been too piggish for the Democratic Party, and he would have probably run as a Republican.
Switch the name Hunter Biden with Don Jr.
And you'd go, fucking coke? Absolutely. Still doing it. Like, I don't buy the shit that he's no longer an addict. I mean, have you seen his fucking eyes?
Or Eric, or Ivanka, or
or
Barron
Jared
Trump.
Barron? Leave Barron out of this. Fuck it, he's just a kid.
There's no equal justice, no equal application of our laws.
Right, because if there was, they'd all, except Barron, be in jail right now.
This is corruption through and through, and this is what the Biden protection racket is all about.
Notice how we've gone from the Biden crime family to the Biden corruption racket. Do you see a sort of a diminishing hope in the Hannity crowd's eyes for how this is going to turn out?
Joe Biden, Merrick Garland, you know what? This is why we need new people. Hey, Sean Hannity.
This is why we need new people. Oh, shots fired. Sorry, Trump. I think he means you're out. You fucked up. You were supposed to drain the swamp and you didn't do shit. Barron is about 18 now. I don't care. At 18, even though his life during this shit as a young man, dude, he's not 18 yet, and he doesn't have a fucking job. I don't care. Like, leave him out of it. It's silly. The only embarrassing part of that, poor Barron has to deal with is his own fucking father used his first name as a fake last name when he pretended to be his own PR rep and called Forbes and lied about his wealth. Fucking flim flam. Yeah, he was a child. Barron is innocent in all this shit. If he grows up and becomes Martin Shkreli or something like that, that's a different story. We'll deal with that then when he's a full-grown adult. But during all this, kid's off fucking limits, period. Especially when Ivanka, gets a bunch of Chinese trademarks the night, her dad's throwing the fucking Xi Jinping a bone and dragging this fucking bullshit 3-phase deal out that became nothing. Yeah, we've dealt with this before. I went long anyways. I'm like tired of Sean Hannity. I'm more tired of Sean Hannity than Sean Hannity is. Yes, even Tiffany is innocent. I agree. I don't think she had. I think one of the best things about that Tiffany can kind of counter blessings that her fucking dad treats her like shit and stiff arms her because she was able to avoid all these fucking hand grenades that he was hot potatoing into the other kid's hands. Congratulations, Tiffany. You dodged a fucking bullet. Figuratively, from this bullshit. Anyways, I adore you guys. I gotta go. Tomorrow morning, we've got guests. By God, Texas Paul's going to be joining me in the morning show in the second hour, and Aaron Parnas is going to be joining us. That's Lev Parnas's son, and a Democratic activist in his own right. Decent feller. And I'm looking. Let's see. We investigate. Okay, we do not. Oh, there we go. Whoops. Let's see. Where are we? Oh, something going on. Live chat. Something. Yes, Aaron Parnas. Oh, I see. Texas Paul will be hour 1 in the morning. He'll be up first. And then Aaron Parnas will be hour 2. Excellent. He's going to be in the second hour. Great. Love it. It's going to be very exciting. I'm excited to talk to both these gentlemen. There will be plenty to talk about. I've been making, it's been hard, but I've been using AI to try and create some funny illustrations that tell the story of Do You Even Cheese Bro? And the stuff I'm getting back is fairly hilarious. And we will have Friday AI. Don't worry, it will be part of it. Because I want Texas Paul and we won't do this to Aaron, but Texas Paul will react to some of the AI stuff that I deal with as well, because that's part of how I'm back. You'll get to it. God damn it! Every time I turn around, there's something that type of thing.